Hey, good buddies. Welcome into the Good Buddy Anime Podcast. I'm your good buddy, Roger.
I'm your good buddy, Brandon.
And we're about to go over the horribly depressing second part of Devilman Crybaby. Boy, did I not see this coming.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
I said in the first episode that we did several times that I can't get a read on this anime. I can't read it. I don't know what's happening. It makes sense, but I don't know what's happening. And then, man, these, especially the last 3 episodes. Like,
yeah, man.
Ooh.
It hurt. It hurt a lot. I've talked to a buddy of mine who started watching it and listening to the podcast. And like,
hey, thanks, buddy.
Hell yeah. Shout out to my good buddy, Joe.
Good buddy right
like,
there.
no joke, the first thing I said when I saw him at work was, don't mess with me. I'm sad about cartoons. And he goes, oh, you finished it? I was like, yeah, I finished it.
Yeah.
Just, painful.
Yeah, but, I texted you whenever I got to a certain point, and you're like, I just had that scab is healing.
Yeah, he's like texting me like, oh my god, I hate this. Oh, I'm so sad, bummer. And I'm like, don't make me relive it. Like, I'm trying to scab over here. This is... Well, before we get too into it, I do want to take a brief moment, as this can be just me, but call it Brandon's bloopers. I'm sad. You know what? Sometimes you got to own up to your mistakes, and mistakes were made. Mistakes were made, and I want to take a moment to apologize. As we know, the levels to apology are 1, admission that what you did was wrong, 2, acknowledging how it affected the people it affected, and 3, committing to change. So, number 1, I got 3. Number 1, show ran long. I feel like I talked a whole lot.
Yeah, I think you did good though. I think a lot of people thought you broke it down really well.
I mean, sure, but also, like we said at the beginning, it'll take you about 2.5 hours to watch these episodes. Well, it'll take you about 2.5 hours to get through this damn podcast too.
That's
so
true.
I feel bad about that.
But there were questions attached as well. There was a little more to it.
Indeed, but also, I just want to say I understand, as someone who listens to a lot of podcasts, I understand like a 2.5 hour thing that pops up in your little podcast app is daunting. Everybody ain't got time for that.
We're gonna work on it though. We're gonna get better. I felt like it was okay for a couple of dudes that are pretty new at this.
We're definitely gonna make it work. We're new.
You're even newer than I am.
Certainly so.
Yeah. So I thought you did a great job, man. I think other people thought you did a great job too.
I appreciate that.
The Good Buddy universe out there is behind you. They're a small universe, but they are growing.
Oh, I love you guys. All right. Second thing, I got a lot of those names wrong. Yeah. I kept getting names wrong. I described an entire 5 minutes of the show saying it was Ryu when it was Akira, however you want to say it. My bad. Also, we both messed up with our buddy Mayota, a.k.a. Kun, who we thought was that runner guy. No, that's a totally different character name. Yeah. Coda? Was it Coda?
And I believe that he was maybe in the first episode.
He was in the very first episode.
Very beginning, but it was just
I rewatched
so much
it
happened.
just to be like, damn, Brandon, you're dumb.
Yeah.
A lot happened between those scenes, but
they had
also,
the same hair.
They had the same haircut. Like, you gotta cut me some slack there. Anyway, gonna make sure that we get the names right. And I commit to change.
Yeah,
Third,
I tried. If I caught it, I tried to get you back on course. But
I just messed up a few times. I think it worked.
Fine.
Lastly, one last thing. We talked a lot about jizz. Let's cut down on the. Gonna try to cut down on the semen talk when we can avoid it.
This might be our only chance to talk about semen on this podcast.
Let's not. Sorry about that. I've already said the word semen and jizz too much.
Yep.
There's 2 more instances.
That icky sticky, dude.
We're gonna move on, and we're gonna just
what a demon ejaculate.
We're just gonna move on, and you know what? We're gonna make it good. We're gonna make it very good. That said, episode 6 starts with some dude fucking. Yeah. Let the semen flow.
What's up? Neither demon nor human. That is the name of the episode. And for the first time in the series, I thought this was the most linear episode of them all.
Yeah.
This one was kind of like front to back. It was easy to follow.
Which is not to say the others were terribly hard to follow.
Not at all. But
yeah, they do jump around a lot.
Yeah, this one was just very straightforward. And that doesn't make it a bad episode. I thought it was pretty good. So we start out.
We have the reveal of this super fast Coda kid, who, yes, we thought was Kun in the previous episode. Our bad. he's laying down, having some boy love fun times.
Laying the pipe, dude, to some little boy.
Laying that pipe. Yeah,
who I can assume is a bit older than he is because he refers to him as like as a high school
superstar. Yeah. And it's pretty great. They have some sex. Meanwhile, as they're doing it, and dude is, doing it.
Yeah.
He's really getting in there.
He's going to town, dude.
He indeed is having a good time. They do. He's having these flashbacks, these interstitial moments, and he's saying this other person's name who, having reviewed the first episode, is the guy who went missing that he's talking about.
Yep.
Presumably they were lovers, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And
what's his name? Juichi or something?
I think it was something like that. And he's seeing visions of what appears to be like one of those Sabbath parties with a bunch of dead folks. Mm-hmm. And he transforms. He is, in fact, a devil man. Not unlike our good buddies, Akira and Miko. And apparently he ends up just consuming this guy, which we can assume is what happened to Juichi previously.
Yep. Well, you see a little frame at the Sabbath of where Juichi he's severed into pieces. Yeah. And he finds his little necklace, and he takes the necklace from him.
He takes a necklace. You see him wearing the necklace that the dead body was wearing in the flashback. Oh, boy. Just getting it started right with episode 6. And then I believe it goes straight to Ryo and Akira talking.
Yep. They're suspecting that
Koda
is a demon.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's apparently time for Ryo to put his master plans into action.
Yes. So he slides a little vial over to Akira, and he has him drink it, and it turns Akira into Devilman.
Well, that is... At first, it doesn't appear to do anything.
Yeah.
And then...
It takes a little bit of time.
Well, what ends up triggering it, and we find out later... At first, I didn't get it either, but we see later when this plan is enacted proper, it doesn't start until he plays that video. With the club scenes and the naked people and the music. That's what ends up setting him off. It's just the primer, and then this is the trigger, you see?
I got you.
So,
yeah, I didn't catch that either.
And Akira transforms into Devilman, punches at him. He's enraged, clearly has no control, or else why would he attack his best friend? Punches at him. He is, in fact, in a, walled off with this big plexiglass, can't break through it. And Ryo's like, oh, yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah, pretty much. So he's got the juice and the video to get him going.
Yep. So he is. He has some kind of liquid that forces this transformation with the trigger of the thing. It's, oh boy. We get a brief shot of Miko running, looking extra crazy with those weird proportions, and it's like they said at the beginning. Those friggin' dudes on the bleachers, man, Miko's tits are bouncing everywhere. They really were.
They were like swinging. They were like helicoptering.
There's a fun animation right there. Oh, and we do get a quick shot, I think, here of the skull plants. Have you seen those before?
I have not seen those, but I did see the snapdragons had turned.
Snapdragons, that's what they do. When they die, they leave over these seed pods, which look very much like skulls. And I mentioned that in our previous episode, how I figured that was some symbolism. And I feel like it definitely is, because we go from, snapdragon is a very pretty plant. It's also a dragon. You squeeze on it, it opens and closes. It's beautiful. It's deadly. It's a dragon, not unlike our devil men and Miko in particular. Who was taking care of those. And the skulls specifically, well, we'll get to all that stuff, I guess, but yeah, we get a little bit more foreshadowing, I think, is what that is. So from there, we're at the big track meet, this big unisex, or not unit. Is that what's the term I'm looking for? Gender neutral. That's not what they call it.
No,
do they call it?
I know. Co-ed.
Do they call it unisex? I think they call it unisex. I don't remember.
Yeah, maybe.
Point is that it's a big track meet, men and women.
Sporting event.
No restrictions. Usually, in sporting events, it's men against men, women against women. Yeah. They don't care. It's a big relay. Everybody's in.
Yeah, we had a few like that at our school where some of them were just males and females, and you'd split apart. But the really big ones, you had kind of everybody.
Just everybody gets in on it, just as it should be.
Yeah, it was always fun.
Anyway, from there we get a shot of Akira. So the plan, Ryo tells
not
Akira,
that I was running any track.
Oh, certainly not. Neither of us, dude.
I was throwing a big old ball.
I wasn't doing nothing. Sports. I went to AJ Moore. We didn't have sports. Anyway, we had that damn ROTC, and that wasn't for me. I ain't even no army. Anyway. So we see Ryo talking to Akira about the plan. He is to get Koda, the guy we know as to be a demon, and they suspect to be a demon, to drink this water, and then that's going to set him off and whatnot. Akira, we see him go into the locker room with his teammates, with everybody who's in there, and he approaches Koda, just cry, baby. He's just weeping.
He's crying hard,
because again, I mean, they never say, yes, he's an empath or whatever, or, whatever, but he knows this guy's so sad about this, and he's pulling it in, and it's coming out of him. Yeah. It's coming out of Akira.
That was something that I thought they would touch on was,
They don't really.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't really. Not that I saw, but he's clearly just so pure that he's able to just feel everyone's feelings, even being a demon himself. He is
skeptical of the plan at this point, too.
Yeah, he clearly is not super into it. The bottle is like marked with a star, a pentagram, I guess, on the bottom of it.
And he keeps the bottle.
He does keep it. He does not end up giving it to Koda. He can't deal with it. Koda actually is all upset because this guy's telling him, you're sad about that guy, oh, you're so sad, and he like freaks out and throws him into a locker, like really hucks hard. The dude,
like all the way disintegrates the locker
through the door. Mercy. And dude is just ugly crying the whole time. Oh my god. And then Ryo shows up, kind of, hey, everybody chill. Ryo obviously has so much clout. He apparently has a broadcasting company. Like, I don't know. Jeez.
Yeah, he keeps getting bigger and bigger things until the ultimate pinnacle of how big is this guy?
No, let me tell you. But we'll get to that. By the way, we didn't say it. Obviously, this goes without saying. If you haven't watched these episodes, get on it, because boy, oh boy, you're missing out. But from that scene, we get a scene with Miko and Mickey in their locker room. Miko just not giving any dams, just titties out, getting in everybody's face, scaring them off. She's so scary. Scary, like one of the girls actually says as she runs off.
Yep. You get a good shot of those wazoos there.
That's definitely what they're called, man. And yeah, she's straight up challenging Miki. And even though she's like, she knows she's fast, she knows she can beat her, Miki then gets called off for an interview because she's still more famous, obviously. And then the track meet starts, I believe. It goes straight to the track meet. We get some shots of, some interstitial shots of like Mickey's family, her little brother and mom and dad watching it on TV, and some of the rap guys like watching it on their phones and whatnot. Yeah. Really cool stuff. Just to show how serious this is. Everybody's checking it out. In fact, when it starts, we got friggin' fireworks going on. We got pyro like it's WrestleMania. Like, this is serious. I really got so much pomp and circumstance for a high school track meeting. Really? Yeah. Like, this is serious. This is that serious.
So I don't remember if it's at that moment where you see it or whenever the kind of the big thing happens at the track meet and people are watching, but you see Taro, the little brother, and you start noticing that there's a little bit of black under his eyes.
Oh, he's just sleepy.
Yeah. And at first, it's very subtle. You don't notice it as much. It gets
next
deeper
episode,
and deeper.
It's like, all right, well, he's trying to be cool, right?
Yeah. But you start noticing, like, okay.
It's a little dark under the eyes. Kid needs a nap, clearly. Kid needs a nap.
Yep.
So, yeah, stuff started going, man. The track meet starts, and we find out that Koda, because he's so fast and so good, is actually running by himself. This is a relay, but he's the only one running by himself.
He's gonna run the race all alone.
Yeah, all right, Koda, you're sure cool. And they take off, and he's dead. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Before that, there is a scene where Akira confronts a couple of Koda's teammates in the locker room, in the bathroom. Yeah, and Here's what was weird to me is they're sitting there pissing, at the urinals. Yeah, and they have their butts out. They do have their butts out, but they have like shirts and jackets and pants on. Like they're doing it kid style where they pull them down around their
it's like toddler style.
Yeah, and then Akira comes in and he's like, "Tell me everything you know," and we get a shot of like Koda like in a parking garage somewhere, like weeping because he, you know, Akira's right. Obviously, he is harboring a bunch of emotions. He's crying about this guy. He's looking at him on his phone, and we cut back and we see his teammates, Koda's teammates, telling Akira like, you know, well, this is what we know. He just got fast all of a sudden. It was freaky. Like, oh, it's so crazy. Like, Akira's putting it together. In that scene where they're telling him this, they're sitting on the floor in their underwear, clothes completely off. Why did Akira make them get naked?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought about that too. I was like, maybe he rustled him up a little bit.
I don't know.
But yeah,
I feel like we missed a scene there, but
yeah,
pretty all right.
Oh, and you also kind of in that little flashback where he's crying, you see him talking to Juichi. Is that what we said his name was?
Or was it Suichi? It was something
Juichi.
like that.
It starts with a J, I'm pretty sure.
We see him talking to him.
Yeah.
Again,
and,
you know what? We said we're going to get the names right. Fight me, universe. All right.
Well, that one's close enough.
It's close enough.
He's very minor.
I feel bad about things. All right.
But you see him talking to Koda, and at that moment you learn that Koda is slower than he is. Mm-hmm. He's not as good of a runner as he is.
Yeah. He clearly had some, you know, maybe he was, you know, kind of doing a Miko Mickey thing, living in shadow or whatever, but he still clearly cared about this guy a lot.
He loved him. They were lovers. High school lovers.
So cute. Oh, that's so cute.
Wrote that one on the spot.
The worst. You should record that, bro. So what happens now is we go to the actual meet. We see them start. Koda running by himself and just smoking everybody. I don't remember.
He's not demon running either. He's just running.
No, he's just regular running and smoking everyone. I don't recall who starts the relay for the team, but I know the rest of the team. I know the team that our friends are on is Akira as the anchor. Before him is last runner. Before him, third runner is Miki. Before her is Miko. She's second, and I don't recognize who starts. It's probably some Randy.
Yeah, and
it turns out it wasn't a Randy. He was a major character, and you missed a big plot point, Brandon. God, no, that's fine.
I think it was just a Randy.
I think it was just a Randy. Anyway. They start Koda just smoking everyone, hand it off to second runners, and Miko says, oh, fuck all that, and she full on blasts it, man. She is moving. She is instantly caught up with the dude and is in fact passing him until he decides, all right, let's do the thing, and he starts demon running. We have two people demon running next to each other, just like arms flailing around. It's like the craziest, most ridiculous run I've ever seen. There's a gif of it I found, and it makes me laugh every time I look at it. It's very, very funny. And yes, I say GIF, fight me.
What else are you supposed to say?
The guy who made it says GIF. And I'm like, well, now he says it years after they've done it. I used to say GIF. It's like gift without the T. All right. So they're all running. Dude, Koda is clearly like, you know, really into it now. He's really using all them demon running powers. And as Miko gets up, actually, there's a brief scene where some people are like, "Oh man, that girl's really running fast. Yeah, that's Mickey. She's the witch of track." It's like, no, that's Miko. That's not even her. Like, it's Mickey. What's her name instead? Like, they realize, oh, she's not even the fast one. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Like, she's actually getting some recognition finally. She goes to hand it to Mickey for the next leg. And right as she's about to, ping, Akira says, nope, I need to handle this. He snatches it, apparently running from up where he was further ahead back to them, snatches it and takes off himself. That's not how relays work. I feel like you're disqualified.
Yep.
But he's demon running right there with him, and he's trying to get through to this guy. He's like, I know what's going on. You have something inside you. We can talk about this.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I have it inside me too.
Oh, we definitely did also gloss over that while Akira did not give him the water, Ryo had a brief interview with Kudo.
He's like, sponsor wants you to drink this.
Yeah, with Koda, telling him, hey, could you mind drinking this?
Because
it's for the sponsor. It's part of your contract.
He notices Akira walking off in the locker room with that bottle of water.
And so, a point is, dude did drink the water.
Yeah.
He did end up drinking the water. Stuff is going. Ryo is in his announcement booth, like, making sure that, you know, his cameras are running and that everybody knows what's going on. And then as Akira's trying to talk dude down and be like, hey, let's figure this out. I can help you. I'm like you. Ryo enacts his plan. He's already drank the water. He needs to play the video. Dude needs to be exposed to this. So he flips a switch and turns on some hyper realistic, like, friggin' hologram screens that go over all the bleachers.
Yep.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't that exist?
At what point did he get those set up?
I mean, maybe that's just part of this really, really cool stadium. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that's just how they do it. Jumbotron. Fuck a Jumbotron, baby. Yeah. Everybody's going to see this.
They lit it up.
And they lit it all the way up. And
there was a Sabbath happening.
Yeah, we see the scenes from the Sabbath that Rio had previously recorded. Excuse me. And, I mean, it's tits flying, music playing, all kind of just madness. Everybody who's recording is like, oh God, we're gonna get fired. All sponsors, no, we can't show this on TV. You can't do that on TV. And Rio makes sure his cameras keep running, and it works. Dude transforms. He's like a wild bull looking thing.
Yeah, he's like a big bull.
He just starts trampling stuff. There's a great bit where like everything just chills, and there's a guy sitting there like with his iPod, with his MP3, like with some chill beats playing. That dude just gets stomped. Like, oh, you forgot this was happening? No.
He gets murdered so hard, dude. Yeah,
it's really great. Really wild.
And there's a good view too. Like they go to the aerial of it, and you just see like little circles of blood
smears where, like,
everywhere. He's like spinning out on people.
Oh God, it's horrifying.
But yeah, he's goring people.
Akira's screaming, hey, plan work. Okay, fine. Like he tries to stop him before he does it, and the race keeps going, but dude transforms, goes nuts, starts killing everyone that he can get to. And Akira's screaming to Rio, no, stop it. At least open the gate. He's done. Okay, he's transformed. Open the gate. Let him out so he can't kill everybody. No, he's just going to kill everybody. And, oh boy.
Yeah, they have people trapped in the gate, too. And then once all those people are dead, then Rio lets the gate up. And the whole purpose of this, too, is so everybody starts cutting their broadcast of it off. Rio's broadcasting it.
Make sure it keep going.
He wants people to know that demons exist. This is what he tells you at the beginning. This is his plan to expose demons to the humans.
And he does so. He puts out a message saying demons exist. We see shots from all around the world. There's a bit where Mickey grabs Miko's hand, is like, let's get out of here, that thing's gonna kill us, and like pulls her out of the way. And I'm like, team up. I'm waiting for it. Team up. Doesn't happen yet. We get a shot where like all the broadcasts are ending, they're closing. One of the rap guys on his phone happened to be watching Rio's broadcast, still has it. There's a really fun shot where Miki's little brother is watching it, and everybody's like, oh my God, the parents are freaked out. They're like, what is going on? The demons? Is this real?
Yeah,
and he's just like,
awesome.
Oh, cool, man. Like, he's so into it. And then Rio proceeds to break the damn internet. Like, it's going everywhere. It's being broadcast everywhere. He makes sure that everyone sees it. He makes sure everyone knows that demons exist. There is a bit with what appears to be an anime Trump.
Yep, I did see that. I was like, is that who the...
Like, people are busting in the Oval Office like, we're in the comment, what are you going to do about these demons? And it's just like, clearly,
I was like, is that the American president? Because they're kind of talking about the American president later in the series.
He's
and
definitely...
it looks like a Richard Nixon-esque person.
Well... I don't remember seeing the American president again. I remember seeing like some generals and stuff.
Yeah, and it could have been that. It was just a bunch of,
It was weird, but there's definitely a bit where you see people busting into what appears to be the Oval Office, and a slightly orange guy with crazy blonde hair going, whoa, like trying to get him out of there. Oh boy, we got an anime Trump. Anyway, so yeah, the thing.
This anime's got it all.
This anime's got it all. It's got the blood. It's got the titties. It's got the American president. Hey, anyway, so yeah, eventually Rio does open the gates, make sure he gets out. Everybody that wasn't immediately smeared across the field is relatively safe. The thing runs off and crushes some cars. And then we're just dealing with the fallout, all this stuff online, people seeing
Rio, it. And so Rio wants Akira to kill Kota.
Mm-hmm. He wants him dead.
And Akira calls him, and he's like, yeah, I took care of it.
He took care of it. He killed the demon.
Clearly has not.
Clearly has not. We then see Kota in his demon form crushing a car and Akira runs up and says, what does he say exactly? You're not a demon, you're a
devil man.
You're a devil man, just like he is.
Yeah, you're not demon, you're not human, you're devil man.
And he transforms, he grabs him by the horns, he flies him out of there, and he says he's gonna try to help him. Good guy Akira going for it, trying to help him out. And
that's about that for that episode.
Episode 7.
We got humans, wise demons.
Yep. We got some anti-demon squads forming. These militias.
This is kind of like the prelude to the the massacre that is the last 3 episodes.
Oh boy. So even clip. So it is important to mention, like, it's been shown before in this series up to this point, but the Devilman series does exist in this universe, like as a character, as an entertainment
Devilman
figure.
Pretty often on TVs and stuff.
And those clips are now being blocked online. We see that they're being blocked on. People try to click them, and it's like, not available in your country. Which I got a problem like that with my YouTube when I was trying to find something. And yeah, we see these militias of obviously humans, like, putting on masks and going out with bats and guns and just patrolling the streets like, you're a demon, aren't you? You're one of them. It's like, okay. It's really, obviously, paranoia is at an all-time high. We get a clip of good guy Akira getting some food and taking it to a rooftop where he has Coda hidden. Yep. And I'm like, team up?
Yep.
Not yet.
Maybe.
Not yet. I want that team up, man. Not yet. And he's explaining to him, you got to stay here, at least for the time being. People are, you're easily the most recognizable. You will not survive if you leave.
Yep.
And that's that. They have a little chat. They like kind of get in each other's face, but they leave amicably and amicably. Words.
Yeah.
And
don't try to make me speak the words if you can't say it.
Pretty great.
I certainly can't say it.
It was amicable. They left amicably.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Nailed it. First try.
First try. Just cut all that other stuff out, Roger. You got me, right? You got me on the edit. All right. So Akira heads back out. We get a shot of the home, and this is where you see that kid is definitely, like, rings around his eyes. He looks like a little panda. I wrote down, this kid with a guy line. He's trying to be cool. Mm-hmm. He's trying to be cool.
Maybe he's trying to be like Akira.
Maybe he's trying to be like Akira.
You don't really know just yet.
You find out.
Yeah, you find out.
But yeah, he's looking like a little panda, I wrote down. We get some, shots of the family, Miki playing with her brother, and like, ooh, scary demons, ha ha ha. Like, they're just playing around. Yeah. They're like they're obviously, making light of a thing. You laugh so you don't cry kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
But they're definitely like having some fun, or trying to anyway. We see Miko, just going all out. She's still running. We get a shot of a guy like stopping and being like, "Hey, you're so hot when you pant."
This is a good point to notice that she has these orange sunglasses on.
She does, in fact. Which we definitely seen those before.
Yep, they belong to Cocoon.
But yeah, she's having sex, killing dudes.
Yeah, she's running.
She's running wild.
Dude, creeper comes up. And he's like
threatening her, clearly gonna try to get his action.
Has a gun or whatever,
and she's like, and she just goes for it. She's on top of him.
And the Devilmen have the enhanced sex drives.
Yeah, she's clearly like violent and sexual, and
so she's
like going at it with dude, and then he's like, oh god, and she just like, shut up, pops his head.
You're being too rough, and she blows his head off and continues to go.
She keeps going. We see a creature.
What do you think? She got another good 2 or 3 minutes with that?
Hey man, I don't know how that would work. How fast does rigor mortis set in? Like,
I think that takes a little while.
Yeah, let's not.
Maybe I should run a quick Google search.
It's not enough that, like,
how long does butter stay up after
It's not
dead?
enough that we have like decapitations and people getting killed. We also have a little necrophilia, some cannibalism in this episode.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy. This show's got it all, like we said, and
it's got it all.
It's got it all. It's got cannibalism, necrophilia, death and destruction, and Trump.
Anime Trump.
Oh God, it's so. So yeah, Mika going all the way out. We get some more interstitial shots with her. Like, we see her at her house wearing those glasses. We get a couple brief scenes where you clearly see some severed fingers that say "fly" on them.
Yeah,
obviously. Okay,
and that's at the point that Brandon realized his good buddy was dead. Ain't coming back.
I'm sad about cartoons. I've said it before. He ain't getting any deader. I'm sad about cartoons. I said it when I first walked in this room. I'm gonna say it a few more times before I leave.
Hey, at least they gave you a soft blow with him.
I mean, we don't see it. We get a little gore, but we don't see it.
You get a little, just a tiny glimpse, just enough to know.
And one can assume that she's still like we assume that since this is all happening while we're seeing Miko going all out, that perhaps she's the one who did it. Maybe not on purpose, maybe accidentally at the Sabbath, but I mean, that's definitely what's implied, I think. Yeah. We don't know for sure how he died, though.
Yeah,
but we see her wearing those glasses. Clear. We see, presumably, her grandma or whoever she was living with, like, we see some feet with flies buzzing around them, so she's just laying there dead in the apartment. Presumably, that's her.
Yeah, I don't know. See, it's not really clear if she killed her grandmother. Or if
her grandma just died.
Yeah, she's old and crazy. She's like, whatever, I got to get out of this place.
She's clearly like all the way over the edge at this point, Miko is. Mm-hmm. And yeah, but one can assume still has some feelings, at least for Mayota, since she's wearing his glasses still.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or maybe she just looks cool. She does look cool.
She does look cool. So she has grown-up auto rocket sunglasses.
Yeah. Really great. So yeah, we get a scene with Mickey. Gotta make sure I get these names right. Mickey heading down the street, gets accosted by some of these anti-demon militia guys. They clearly, whether or not they think she's actually a demon, they're, getting a little too close. They've got their own plans. And gets saved by the rat boys.
Yeah.
My dudes.
They got her back this time.
They got her back. Hey, fair's fair. That she saved them from cops, they'll save her from these dudes. And they punch a few of them out. Nice little brawl there where they just knock them down. And then one of those militia guys blows a whistle and a bunch more start coming in. Dozens and dozens more, in fact. I'd like to know where they got these. They're all very coordinated. They're wearing the same, like, painter outfit. These white jumpsuits with, like, the masks on. But yeah, a bunch of these guys start coming in and time to bone out, and they bail. They totally bail. We get a scene them with, like, a big, weird demon thing getting attacked by some cops. Akira tries to, like, stop it and save it. Because, like, he thinks, oh, maybe it's a devil man like me. No, I need to save you. No, it's okay. Come with me. And it runs away from him. It ends up getting flamethrowered, kill it with fire. And they kill this thing, and then they take some shots at Devilman as he's flying off. It's rough, man.
Yeah.
It's a rough situation.
Yeah, you can tell that society is kind of breaking down.
It's falling apart. Very much so falling apart. We get... I wrote down team up again, so I guess...
this is the point where Miko makes her way to the rooftop.
Mm-hmm. And meets up with Koda.
Yep.
She tracked him down one way or the other.
And they were about to fight, and then they don't.
And then, yeah, they seem to be like kind of, hey, couple of cool devil people. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can handle some bismuth. Who knows?
Yep.
So they kind of like, seems like they're going to figure something out there.
Yeah, Miko, she stays up there. She hides out for a little while.
Yep. We, this is where we get one pretty upsetting scene where we have, Taro is the little brother, right? Mickey's little brother, Taro.
Okay, yep.
Is, Mickey's mom is taking him to the grocery store. They're like shopping. She stops and talks to some people. Oh, did you hear? So-and-so turned out to be a demon. Oh my gosh, really? Oh. And they're like just chatting it up. Taro just keeps staring at this dog.
Yeah, somebody leaves their dog out.
Somebody leaves the dog there.
The convenience store on a leash.
Just leaves the dog there, and he's just staring it down, like, and he's drooling. And it's like, the whole time I'm like, oh, this kid's trying to be cool with the black circles. So I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then he wanders off. Mom realizes, oh, where'd he go? The dog's gone too. She finds him behind a car, kneeling
with some organs,
just blood and what clear. He says, Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just wanted meat.
I just wanted meat so bad.
He ate the dog.
The dog is just, there's like next to nothing left of it.
There's a bloodied collar. There's blood everywhere. There's like a paw, I think. It's pretty gruesome.
Yeah, it's gross. But
the kid killed and ate this dog, or maybe ate it while it was alive. Who knows? But it's pretty gruesome.
What confuses me about this, so he's not that far away. You would think that dog would be yipping.
Maybe. Or maybe he figured that and broke its neck.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's his animal instinct.
That's true.
But yeah, I wrote down, well, fuck me running. Turns out he was a demon. So the kid is transformed. He's in it. He's in the... Oh man,
he's in the beginning stages.
This is the beginning of the end, though. Like, this is where it just starts getting worse and worse from here. Yep. And boy, oh boy, it's a good time. So
Taro eats a dog.
We get to then we have a scene where Akira is confronting Ryo, and he's like, he wants an explanation. Like, hey, you said this was to help people, but people are just worse than ever. I thought, what's going on here? And they have an argument. Akira leaves. Rios tries to stop him. Like, no, I need you to help me. And he's like, no, fuck this. I'm out. I'm gonna save as many people as I can.
Yeah.
And he leaves.
Yeah, Ryo is not happy about it.
He's really not into this.
He's visibly upset.
Very upset. And then we get a brief scene where, first of all, he lives in room 666. Apparently. Yeah. It's pretty great.
That is great.
And then
he also
stops.
he
so owns convinced. A Bible too.
Yeah, he is so convinced that it doesn't matter. Akira is coming back to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He says it several times. Don't worry,
he'll be back. He'll be back. He'll be
back. Yeah.
And he stops and he has a brief scene where he keeps a Bible next to his door and he turns and like flips it open to the middle of a Bible, which is where the book of Revelations is. No, Revelations is the last book of the Bible. Yeah. Thanks years of church life. He reads a little bit from he reads a bit of Revelations to himself, and he's like kind of realizing some things maybe. But yeah, stuff's getting bad.
Yeah. At that point,
we get a bit where like mom has messaged.
Yeah, Mr. Makimura.
Yeah,
has got a text message from
Nikki Daddy.
Yeah, from Miss Makimura
saying I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm taking Taro.
I'm taking Taro.
Doesn't explain why.
Yeah. Nothing at all.
Just don't look for us. I have to go. I'm sorry. I love you both. Bye.
And at that point, you have Miki and the rat
gang. Boys are at the house.
Yep, they're coming in or whatever to take shelter.
Brought the rat boys home because it's not safe on the streets. Hey, I can't leave you guys hanging. You saved me. I saved you. Let's save each other. So, and Dad says, no, I'm gonna go find Mom. I'm gonna go find Mom and Taro.
And this is the absolute moment that I knew nothing good was happening.
Yeah,
when he said, don't worry, God will protect me.
He says God will be watching over me.
Yeah, God will be watching over me.
And I'm like, I wrote down, Dad's for sure gonna die. Die. And then
not to talk down on anybody that has like
religious proclivities, of course,
and they care about. And we're not judging you, but in any show ever,
if you invoke the name of God, you are absolutely gonna die.
Yeah,
that's how these things work, particularly when there's like actual demons and devils running around. There's no way you live. Bummer. The last scene we get here is this is where they mention the American president. Apparently in a preemptive strike, he's so certain that Russia's up to something. Oh, that Putin's at it. Yeah. And he sends
a big
fleet. They mention the American president, and then we see a guy, like a dark-haired guy, talking, but he appears to be a general on the ship, not the president himself. Because he's talking to like his first mate or something, or someone who's there with him.
Are you talking about the submarine scene?
This is when they're on the ship. The ships are going toward Russia, apparently going to bomb Russia because that's where the demons hang out, I guess. I don't know how we came to that conclusion.
Russia's got the demons.
But there's a brief scene where we see the captain of said ship leading this fleet off to nuke somebody, and the first mate or whoever he's talking to, this private, whoever it is, says something like, oh yeah, we'll show those demons, and then ends up getting killed because of course the captain's actually a demon. Of course everyone else on the ship is actually a demon. We're gonna go nuke Russia and really start some shit. At which point
this gigantic white light comes raining down.
Apparently God decided to nuke Russia himself.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't just nuke Russia. He
nukes like a good portion of the planet.
Yeah.
Just huge. And there's actually a bit where they quote the book of, oh gosh, don't get me to reading books, but it's the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, where it was Lot and Lot's wife are leaving, having been warned by God that, he's going to destroy this city because it's so evil. And there's a quote there where they talk about how Lot's wife turned back to look at it after being told not to, and she turns into a pillar of salt. So we see this holy light, just huge explosion, this huge circle of just bright white with these little gold designs around the edge of it, exploding off this part of the planet, covering huge portions of it. And we see scenes of these demons and stuff getting knocked by it, and they're just there's nothing there. We see a guy flying a helicopter go, whoa, and then he turns to salt and crumbles into nothing. Really intense. So I'm like, okay, we got holy light, we got pillars of salt, the angels apparently coming. I don't know what's going on.
But it starts getting a little more clear of where we're going with this.
And we get a shot of Rio flipping his shit.
He's going crazy.
He's like, what is what? Like he appears to recognize what's happening, but not really.
And he doesn't know how his plan. It becomes clear at this point that he doesn't entirely know what his plan is. He just has a plan and he's doing it.
Whether or not he like has any real control over what's going on, it's rough.
But that's pretty much the end of that episode. The only other thing that I do want to mention here is that when Mr. Makimura leaves, he leaves Akira to protect over everybody.
Yes, Akira shows up too, and Akira's there. I think... Is Miko there at this point? I don't think Miko is there yet.
Yeah, I don't think she
ends up at the house, but I don't think she's there yet.
Yes, that happens in the next episode, because there's a little bit of an interaction there. With
stuff gets really wild.
Some Devilmans and some demons.
All right, so episode 8.
Episode 8, I must know myself. And that's almost the first line that Rio says.
Rio... Apparently, you see now that he really doesn't know what's happening. He knows he has a plan. He's not sure why he has a plan. He's certain of this and that. He goes to the building where that Sabbath was, and he's like, "What's going on? Like, there's people living there. There's like some homeless folks that are holed up there." And he's like, "How long have you been here? What's going on?" He's like, "We've been here 10 years. What are you talking about, man?" He's like, "What?" Like, he knows this happened. It wasn't 10 years ago. It's like months, maybe. That party was where
so he starts shooting the wall, trying to see if somebody plastered over it.
And it turns out they did. There's claw marks there. He's like, no, someone's messing up. And I wrote down, who is Rio? 10 years. What is happening? Conspiracy. Nothing was real.
Does it ever really clarify who plastered over it, or?
Well,
okay, so
not so much, but we get a big character reveal later that has that kind of explains a little bit what's going on, maybe.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, and I think it was a theory that I had too, but maybe not. We'll get there when we get there.
But yeah, so Akira's figuring stuff out. He's trying to find out. I don't remember if it's here or later. It doesn't matter so much, I guess, in the long scheme. But he starts doing some research. He's trying to find out what happened to Professor Fikara.
Yeah. Did you say it was Akira or Rio?
Rio. Thank you. Getting these names right, baby.
Got you, buddy.
That's my boy.
I got you.
Rio is trying to figure out what's going on. Looking up Fikara, which was like the whole reason he knows any of this. Mm-hmm. He's like, "What are you talking about? He doesn't exist. I was with him on an expedition, and we went to South America. Blah 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 blah." And he's realized something's up, and he starts. We see him driving. We see some people following him. Eventually, he does end up in South America trying to find out what's going on. But before that happens...
It's weird, too, because he starts asking about the doctor or whatever, and they hang up on him.
Yeah. Like, something is extra wrong now. Like, before it was, who is Rio? Now it's... Rio doesn't know who Rio is. Apparently.
Rio has no clue what this plan is that he's been doing.
That he has apparently, perhaps, again, not even knowing it, been wild to. So we get a scene of Mr. Makimura, Mickey's dad. He's trying to find wifey, trying to find his son. There's a lot of just madness. He gets guns put in his face. There's like a preacher, like street preacher.
Yeah.
The end is nigh guy who starts mowing people down. And that person who had the gun in his face gets shot. They're laying there dead. And I'm like, take the gun, Dad. You're gonna need it. And he does, in fact, grab the gun and bail.
People started getting mowed over left and right here too.
Yeah,
like,
extra.
It's a firefight.
Extra paranoid. We have the military now rolling through in tanks.
Yeah,
mowing people
the city
down.
is almost in ruins. It looks like
there's like
you can tell
it's just
not looking
busted.
Good.
It's like full on. It looks like zombie apocalypse, except without the zombies. The people are zombies and they're killing everyone with guns. It's getting painful. We get some shots of we get a few like interstitial bits here where people are like talking online. You get some of them like comments and like an allegory for Twitter in this universe. A lot of
water.
Yeah, twatter. Wow. A lot of people putting up their anti-devil demon sentiment and like saying, "Oh, gotta kill these demons, humans. Oh, we're humans." I do want to make a note. Gotta be. I mean, how could I see this and not pause it and write this down? One of the comments on Twitter, shall we say, says, and I quote, "White people should die. They produce demons." Come on, man. Oh God. So yeah, we're getting some shots of that. Man, you're seeing like how this is in fact worldwide, and a lot of this like the show in this and the next episode makes a lot of comments on like the toxicity and like how quickly misinformation and paranoia spreads, particularly with the advent of the internet and smartphones and whatnot. It's really wild, like how just boom, this happened. Boom, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everything. Mm-hmm. Everyone is in an uproar. Everyone is paranoid. Everyone is going batshit. And then Dad finds some kind of... he gets there.
So there's a little that happens right before there.
Yeah, go ahead.
The group or whatever, Akira goes to convince Koda that they need to work together as Devilmen.
Team up?
Team up. There you go. And he realizes that Miko's there and that she's a Devilman as well. So they go to talk to the demons, I believe. And there is a scene where, so Miko and Koda are with him or whatever, and he's talking to this guy that looks sort of like him. Okay, demon form looks sort of like him. He's got a big eyeball on his head. He's got like the Jigon eye or whatever it's called. And he proceeds to whooping Akida's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, he whoops up on him pretty hard. And it's kind of in this moment where he starts to flee. Akira starts to flee or whatever. Miko goes with him.
Yeah, I think the Zenon was the name there.
Yes. Yeah. Koda stays behind though.
He's like, I'm down with you guys. Hey, all right.
Yeah. So this guy that, seems very, very sorry for what he's done. And very emotional.
And yet he wants to be on the winning side.
And then in a second, he's like,
turns.
Screw these guys. I want to be with you guys because it seems like y'all might win.
Yeah.
And what I care about is being with y'all.
Well, actually, I think the big scene there comes a tad bit after the dad scene, because there is some stuff there, and then there's I wrote down like dad scene, and then this other stuff. I wrote down Zenon. I wrote down Psycho Jenny, which is a character we will be introduced to.
That's what I was about to get to.
So what does happen though? We get the scene with the dad. First, we get a scene of Mom and Taro. They're in like some kind of refugee camp, human refugee camp. And like people are just trying to live. They're in these little tents and whatnot. And Taro's in curled up in Mom's lap, and he's just like losing it. Like he's finding it hard to control anything. And she's like, "Oh, it's okay." He's like, "I'm so hungry. I need to eat meat." And he's not well. And so Mom says, "All right, well let's go." And she takes him away. And then Dad shows up in this little refugee camp. He's trying to find them. He's like calling their names. He's certain they're close. Maybe with like a Find My iPhone thing or whatever.
So your timeline was different. I had a couple of my notes rearranged.
Oh yeah,
that was my bad.
No, you're good.
So that you just copy and paste that kind of after this.
Yeah, we'll fix it in post. So Dad,
we ain't gonna fix it in post. It's gonna
we're doing it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
we live, baby.
We live, baby. Yeah. shout out to Knick Knack Paddywhack or whatever his name was. That dude's hilarious. All right. So Dad makes a phone call. He hears the phone ringing. He runs to this one tent. He looks in and he sees this just freaky looking demon thing.
Yeah, it's like a cephalopod or something.
Yeah, some like kind of like slug octopus consuming. We see the legs of what is obviously almost certainly Taro's mom.
Yeah.
That's Taro.
I believe the phone. I couldn't tell if the phone is...
The phone's around the demon. Yeah, it's like maybe like a necklace thing they have on him, so like he doesn't lose his phone, and it is on him and it's ringing, and Dad's freaked out. He's about to shoot, and he's like, "Wait, Taro?" And it's like we see this thing's one big eye staring at him, just well up with tears.
Yep, he starts crying,
and this scene is gut wrenching.
It really,
it's like
is.
Dad is crying. He's like so freaked out.
The point that I missed, the kind of what I had crossed up. So Akira calls Rio. And Rio actually answers and gives him the location of where Dad is.
That's it. That's what it was. Yes, that's how he found him.
Yes. Okay, so that's kind of what I mixed up.
So Ryo's trying to get there while this scene is happening.
So somehow Rio is nice enough in all this to just kind of relate. Okay, here's where they are.
Boy.
So Akira is headed to the refugees camp.
And real quick, when Akira gets that message, he sees. He knows it's from Rio.
In Peru.
He sees it's coming from Peru. Yeah.
Yep.
So Rio is in Peru for a reason. Mm-hmm. Oh boy, we'll find out. Boy, will we find out?
Yeah. So Akira says, "Hey, I'm gonna go get everybody, and I'm bringing them back." So he leaves Miki and everybody there, and at this point, Miko is now. This is when she's introduced to the house.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And then Akira takes off to try and get to Dad and find Mom and Taro, and that's where we get the scene with. I mean, Dad has the gun. He's weeping and all that.
No, Miko meets right after that.
After the Dad scene.
Right. Yes. Right. Sorry, guys. This was a hard one to watch.
This was a hard one to watch. I told him when we were texting about it, I was like, it's going to be a roller coaster of a recording session. But yeah, what ends up happening back at Dad is he's weeping. He's about to shoot this thing. He's about to finish. He's about to end his own son in this demon form, and he's finding it so hard to do it. He can't do it. He says, "You're no longer my son. I'm sorry," and he can't pull the trigger.
Yeah,
he's
keeps
crying
the gun
so hard,
and he puts it down.
It's like freaking Point Break, where like he's doing it and then he can't do it, and then he's about to do it and then he can't do it. It's just constant. And then the military rolls up and they say, "Step away." And he's like, "No, my son's in there," and they open fire.
Yeah, he gets no time at all.
They mow him down. They end up killing. They shoot up the kid. That was
the first.
Kid.
That was the first moment that my mouth just was like agape. I was like, "Holy crap! I did not see this happening."
Yeah, it happened, dude. Like
I knew that nothing good was going to come for him, but like that, just like that, in an instant. This whole side of his face is blown off.
It's just gone. And these are three pretty major characters.
Yes.
Like side characters, but major side characters.
And those dudes don't stop shooting. They brutalize them.
And then
blow them apart.
Far too late, we see Devilman swoop through the tent, grab everything
everybody that he can, yeah,
and just fly off. And I think he takes a bullet or two in the shoulder as he's flying.
And he is crying once again.
Hurt. It
is emotional because this part, this is. I did not see this coming. I did not see myself feeling this way in this anime.
Mm-hmm.
And then, real quickly, in a hurry, I was like, "Oh wow!
Oh, it's getting bad.
This is not good.
It's getting real bad.
And I'm about to take this all in one session.
Oh, it's about to get worse.
Yeah." And it gets worse.
But we do, again, I'm popping over the place, but I have like that scene, and then I have the bit with the demons and stuff with Zenon, and they're about to, I think it did happen before, it was before Akira or Devilman flies through and grabs him, but we get a scene where they were like beating the crap out of him and all that, and then Koda turns sides, and this freaky looking and yet familiar thing, which is just a head with arms and legs, and this crazy red hair and these crazy eyes and this frightening, dare I say, I think I compared it to Kefka from Final Fantasy VI smile. It's clearly the head. It's clearly Ryo's assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's always been with him. He had no explanation. And now her name kind of makes sense.
Her name we know now is Psycho Jenny. And she is a demon. And oh god, it gets.
So she's got some psychedelic powers.
She's got some straight up
awfully familiar.
Yeah, awfully so. So she says no, let him go. They don't chase after Devilman. They don't chase after Akira. She says specifically, it is his will. it's his plan or something
Yeah.
like that. We can have our guesses, but we don't know for sure who the he is yet.
And so this is all after the part that I had out of place.
Yes.
Just to clarify, that stuff that I was talking about with the demon general or whatever that looks similar to him with the Jigon eye.
Yeah.
So the stuff with the dad happens, he buries him, then that segment happens, and now we're where we are with Psycho Jenny.
Yeah. And then that's when we cut to Peru.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Rio, and he's found this village apparently. Mm-hmm. And we get some weird little flashback shots where like
this
we
is
see
when
like
I start figuring something out.
Yeah, we get some shots of him like as a kid. There's a very brief shot where we see like someone's holding a seed, and this hand that is wider than all the other hands, so it's definitely Rio, points at it and it grows into a flower. There's all this stuff happening. People are shooting up the place, bombs going off. It's all very quick. You don't know what's happening exactly, but he is brought to this village.
He sees a kid or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and the kid is referring to him as Seta. Mm-hmm. I think that's the word they're using, Seta.
Something like that.
And that's when I was like, Seta?
Oh. Yeah, I wrote down.
I got what's going on about here.
Well, right after this is where I wrote down my stuff. But it's so apparently Rio has been tracked. He has all these visions. He's apparently regaining memories. The place is bombed, just straight up napalmed. Rio's fine. Yep. Everything else is glassed earth, but he's fine in this weird safety sphere.
Yeah.
And then that's when
this very similar kind of glowing bubble.
And then we see these soldiers moving in, apparently intending to apprehend him, which is when Red Jenny and the rest of the demon horde show up and slaughter them. And they're there for Rio.
Yep.
And is the point that I wrote down Rio is an angel, fallen angel, Satan?
Seta.
That is how
oddly close enough for me to
kind of you put it together.
Yeah,
you get some ideas.
He's Satan. That's what's happening here.
That's definitely what it feels like. And then we get the scene where they're back at the house. Kira comes home.
Yeah,
everyone's
this is where
there.
Miko comes in with him.
Yeah, and Mickey's there. She says, "Did you find him?"
Turn-coded on him. Mm-hmm. And
Mickey comes in. She's like, "Did you find him?" Like all the rat boys are there. They're like, "Oh, it's that mermaid kid or whatever." And Mickey says, "Did you find him?" And he just tells her, "No, they're dead."
Yeah,
everybody's dead.
Miko goes to tell her, and he stops her because he wants to do it.
It should be his responsibility. He feels. He says it, and Mickey doesn't move. She stops. She turns around. She goes upstairs. She goes into her room, closes the door, and just starts weeping.
And they both cry,
and they're both crying.
It is a cry.
I've said before, Akira cries enough for both of them. No, they're both crying enough for everyone watching.
And you're like, oh, Lord have mercy.
And then
this show got darker.
It gets really dark. It gets really, really dark. I wrote down, it's just so sad.
It just keeps getting darker.
It piles on. So then we get the scene right before it cuts out. Everyone except Mickey comes in partway through this, is sitting, they're just chilling out in the living room watching the TV, like for the news and whatnot. And apparently worldwide, everywhere broadcast comes on that plays on everything. Every radio station, every alert siren, every television, everywhere is playing this. And we see Rio, and we see two very official looking dudes sitting on either side of him. And it's a big thing that's going to replay every hour on the hour, apparently, they say. And it's Rio explaining, we figured out a way to stop the demons before they happen. Before someone turns into a demon, here's how you can stop it. And he goes, I wrote down, Rio goes full fascist. He says, everyone, if you see someone who is not conforming, and he gets wild. It starts out with him just talking, but then he stands up and he's on the desk and he's saying, if anyone's acting strange, if anyone's unsatisfied with their life, if anyone does not conform, if they're not being normal, then they're going to turn into a demon. That's how it happens.
Yep.
And he shows this footage of Akira when he transformed. Except it's a lot of the footage is actually
him,
a Rio running around with a bottle stabbing people with like just a crude blur over his face, like a just black dot. Just pretty fun to look at. And then you see Akira transform, and he says, "Even my own friend, Akira Fudo." Like, oh man, he just puts it out there, and everyone in that room is like, "Motherfucker!"
Okay, and so in the middle of this broadcast, Recorder Boy, you remember whenever there was the big holdup in the store or whatever, and we had the Anime Lives Matter moment?
Yeah.
So the kid with the recorder in his pocket notices those orange sunglasses in Miko's purse.
And remember, these were Mayota, our good buddy Cocoon's friends. They, if anyone would recognize him, it's these guys. And the little guy with the hoodie who doesn't ever talk, he does notice them. Oh man. And
so everybody is freaking out on Akira.
One guy, I don't hesitate to call him the leader of the Rat Boys, pulls a gun. It's getting very, very serious, and Akira's like, "No, I'm not a demon. I'm not a demon. Look, this isn't real. It's not true. Blah blah blah." And then as he's screaming at them, "No, stop, trust me," we hear a gunshot. Screen goes black. Episode over.
Yep.
And episode 9.
Episode 9.
This is the one, man.
Go to hell, you mortals. This
shit hurts.
This episode was maybe one of the biggest bummers in anime history.
It hurts, man.
I got through part of this episode and I texted you, "Fuck this anime. I hate it." And I would like to, to clarify, I don't hate this anime. I actually thought this anime was
I like this anime a lot.
well done.
I like this anime. We'll talk about that when we finish the episodes, I think.
But at this point, in this episode, I hate this anime.
It goes down hard, man. It goes down really hard. So we come back right where we left off. Gunshot just happened. Turns out the little guy with the hoodie on actually also had a gun, and he takes a shot. Doesn't hit anybody, but Akira and
so it makes you wonder too.
Miko,
did this little guy actually have a gun in his hoodie?
It seems like it. Yeah, back at the store, maybe. But he definitely takes a shot. It hits the wall between Miko and Akira. Maybe he was aiming for one of them, but he hits the wall, and everyone's just frozen. Mickey comes on out. Oh man, this shit gets really painful.
Yep.
Mickey comes out, and is saying, she sees Rio there, or not Rio.
Yeah.
There I go again. She sees Akira there, and she says, "No, this is Akira. This can't be true. Akira wouldn't do that." And I think he actually. Does he transform here? Does he show like something? No, he doesn't. But she says Akira.
He does say that I'm a devil man.
He does admit that he has these powers, but he says, "I would never kill a human. I would never kill a human.
I use them to help."
Yeah, he wants to fight demons and help humans.
Yep.
And just help everyone if he can. And they don't want to accept. They're like, bullshit. Mickey comes down and says, "No, this is Akira. I've known him my whole life.
He's protected me.
That's
how he always was."
She actually says he cries for other people. He never cries himself. He refuses to, he never cries when he's sad. He's so strong. He refuses to cry when he's sad because he's crying for everyone else.
It is a very emotional.
It's very emotional
and heartfelt moment in the anime.
And they hug.
And so Wamu, I think Wamu's the leader.
Yeah. Everyone seems to calm down. Yes.
And Akira leaves.
Mm-hmm. He's going off to handle business. He needs to go find Rio and see why this happened. Why is he doing this? What the hell
is going on and why
I think we also get a scene where Akira, or not, see, there I go fucking again. We get a scene with Rio having just finished that broadcast, and the dude sitting on either side of him, and indeed everyone in the room, including the camera crew, pops out, and they're all demons.
They're all demons, yep.
And he's obviously working with them.
Yep. And at this point, I think he starts going into the whole humans are weak. They need to be exterminated. That way,
as he said at the beginning,
the strongest.
The strong
will survive.
live.
So he has very strong social Darwinism, like vibes going. He's a Darwinist at this point.
Yeah.
He's all over the place in this anime.
But, I mean, Darwinism also often cited by the Nazis, as I said, full fascism.
Yep.
I mean, it makes sense that he's so fucking pale, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it gets rough, man. It gets really rough. So Akira runs off to confront and fight, to go find Ryo. And as he's doing so, we see Devilman flying around, and he sees a bunch of people who have these other humans. And they're clearly humans because they're not transformed and attacked. They have them all tied up to these stakes, and they're pelting them with rocks, and there's a bonfire.
They're destroying them.
They're just killing these people. And Devilman flies down, stands between them as a barrier, and demands that they stop. But he doesn't fight them.
Nope.
He does not. And it is during this scene that we get, I wrote down Mickey lays it out, and people refuse to accept it. As we see Devilman standing in defense of these humans from these other humans, Mickey is online talking about her friend Akira.
Yep.
And how he is a Devilman, and how she accepts him because it's just she just goes all the way out. She's telling everything, and during this part, there's so many. You see all these comments, many in Japanese, many in English, many in several languages, that are saying, like, calling her a demon-loving slut, and people saying, "Oh, awful please kill Mickey too. Please kill her." One says, "Dumbass agent, please just die." All this just horrible vitriolic shit.
But there is some, you can see little bits of some people kind of agreeing in with her too.
Yeah, it takes, at first it's just all hatred, and then slowly you see these trickles. Mm-hmm. And then we cut back as this is happening. We still see Devilman standing there, and there's like a kid in the crowd who's holding a rock but not throwing it. He's just staring at this, like in bewildered. And it seems like maybe at least this kid is getting it. It seems like he realizes that Devilman's not there to hurt them. He really is just there to help.
Yep.
And Devilman, meanwhile, is standing there, arms outstretched, like freaking the Christ the Redeemer
taking
statue.
Everything they're throwing
taking everything they throw, and just weeping for everyone. Just weeping, crying for everybody. And that's where I think she says it again. Akira always cried for everyone else. And man, and then we get the let's see. I wrote down, someone has to believe, prevent those who don't from doing harm, because this is eventually that kid walks up past the crowd and people are like, "What the hell, kid, get away from there." And he just hugs Devilman's leg, and Devilman just puts his arms on him, like hugs him back.
Yep.
And then more kids come up, and another kid, and slowly people start coming up and seem to understand finally. And they hug him and they say, I'm sorry, or thank you, and everything. Some people are like taking the people who are tied up and they were stoning down, and they're cutting them loose, and they're apologizing. They're so remorseful now. And it's now that we see more and more, as you said, there's trickles of it at first, but Mickey's still talking and doing all this stuff online. We start seeing these comments saying, "I'm a Devilman too."
Yeah.
And in many languages, "Je suis un Devilman," or however you would say that in French. I'm not going to pretend I know.
We're Devilman.
Yo soy Devilman, yo soy Devilman, like all kind of stuff.
So you start getting like Devilman
from all around the world.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm controlling this. I beat the demon.
It can be controlled.
Yeah.
It's not. We're not all evil. Mm-hmm. Some of us just want to live and help if we can.
Yep.
And it's very touching. And like you see, like I said, prevent those who don't believe from doing harm. We still see some people at that riot, that public stoning, still holding their sticks and rocks, and other people who have calmed down, taking them away from them and saying, no, come on. And like pulling the sticks out of their hands and calming them down and saying, look, it's okay. And there's just a line of people going to hug Devilman.
Yep.
And one of them is Coda.
Yep. But let's cut back a little bit before this, because something else kind of happens in between this. So you start seeing this mob building up too during all these text messages, because two of the little rap group, Recorder Boy, I can't remember his name, or another one, they leak that they're at the Makimura house.
They leak the location. One of them actually goes up to like get the van to pick them up and leave. Mm-hmm. And that's when the crowd is really forming when he tries to come back in a minute.
Yep.
But so the leak happens.
They turncoat on them as well, and
oh god.
So the mob is forming, and now they're marching to the Makimura house.
Yep.
Now I'm trying to remember, and maybe we could just do it section by section. And it doesn't really matter if all of this stuff happens before the whole Devilman, before the rundown there.
Well, what happens is. I think the order it happens is we see this like these things starting to form and whatnot, and people are apparently now have figured out where Mickey is and they're coming for her. And that's when we see all that crowd still hugging Devilman, and the one in front of the next person he hugs or goes to hug is Coda, who makes some smart ass comment, transforms, ends up killing a few people, but smashes Devilman.
Yep.
Just flies him backwards, and then the demon pile-on begins. They're all coming after him.
Yep.
At this point, I wrote down, Devilman's signature move seems to be ripping jaws, because every time one of these huge demon mouths comes at him, he just grabs the top and bottom, rips them in half.
Yeah.
It's happened several times. He's flying through the air.
Pulling them apart.
Xenon shows up. I wrote down Xenon because it's not spelled like the element. It's not with an X. It's with Z-E-N-N-O-N, I think. Shows up, and big fights going down. They're flying around. During this fight, Xenon actually rips off Devilman's wings, and he plummets.
Yep.
Into this mountain. I don't think it was actually Mount Fuji, but it was a big mountain.
Yeah.
It might have been Mount Fuji actually, because it was. There was an explosion. Yeah, I think it was Mount Fuji maybe.
I think
because they definitely illustrate that they're near it earlier in the series, and then I think they did land on Mount Fuji, and he ends up. Devilman ends up ripping off Xenon's arms, I think, and he ends up apparently finishing him, but now he's wingless. And a big explosion at the volcano. You see fire start coming out of it and stuff as they fall into it, and he apparently finishes things. And then Akira, as Devilman, is saying, he still he left to go find Ryo, but he says, no, I need to go back to Mickey. I need to make sure she's okay. I need to protect her.
You get a little flash of Ryo still waiting for...
And he's like, I can't believe he's not here yet.
Yeah.
And
he's convinced that Akira is coming for him.
And oh boy.
Yep.
We get scenes of dude coming back with the van to pick everyone up, and he's blocked by this huge crowd of people. Mm-hmm. We see people start trying to pile in. They start breaking out of the doors and whatnot. And Mickey and Miko go upstairs to try and get away from it.
Yeah, here's where I say, I sent you that text. Fuck this anime, I hate it. They freaking knife the cat.
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me? That was unnecessary. That was unnecessary. Now, granted, the cat does turn into a little devil man baby himself.
Demon. He does a little flat tail flash and either knocks out or possibly kills some people. But
yeah, but
that's devil cat, baby. Love that devil cat. Yeah, I thought when you sent me that "fuck this, I hate it" text that you were further along. Oh, it gets so much worse.
Yeah, it does. I was already dropping to my knees at the cat.
Oh, my dear, good buddy Roger. Oh man, so the
sides are getting heavy.
I think right before everyone starts breaking in, there is a scene with Miko and Mickey upstairs.
Yes.
And Miko admits,
I hate you.
She says, I hate you. You took my name. I was the best before, and then you showed up. And Mickey just says, I know.
Yeah.
And she says, and she breaks down. She starts crying. Miko does, and she says, but I also loved you. You're my best friend. I loved you. I love you so much. And she says, I know. I love you too. And it's very touching. I wrote down friends.
Yep.
They kind of reconcile.
Question mark? Team up?
Team up? Ain't gonna last.
Yeah, you do get a team up. At least
brief
you get
team
that.
Up.
Yeah.
But the crowd starts breaking in. The rap dudes downstairs are trying to hold them off with brooms and sticks, and dude's got the guns. Mm-hmm. Another dude who's breaking in has rat-a-tat-tat Uzis or whatever. Just starts blasting. Dude manages to kill him and get his gun. It's just a bloodbath downstairs.
Yep. And the mob completely is sure that they're all demons.
Yeah, certain of it. And they're just going at it, man. And a couple points here, we see Akira like running on his hand, on his feet and hands, screaming like, I gotta get back to Mickey. Just hang on. I'm gonna get there. And Miko and Mickey go up onto the roof.
Yeah.
Some people crawl up there to try and get him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Wamu and Gabi, I think is his name, are fighting as hard as they can,
and they're doing a decent job.
And they are whooping a little ass.
This horde of just hatred that's pouring through that door. I kind of like that horde of hatred. They are slowly but surely overpowering them.
Yep. And then you get to the scene too where they can see their friend, little recorder boy, standing in the mob of people.
He's obviously he's turncoated. He's with the mob. Miko and Mickey on the roof. Mickey has a bit where someone says, "There's that demon laughing bitch," or whatever, and she says something like, someone calls her, "Yeah, the witch at track and field," and she says, "That fine, I am a witch. I'm a witch." At which point I was like, "Oh, the cat's like her familiar. That's kind of cute."
Yeah,
maybe. But she says, "I'm a witch," or whatever, and they're coming at her. They're crawling onto the roof and going to attack them, and Miko turns into her demon form, which is this crazy spider thing, and just boom, flashes a bunch of them off there. And I think she says, "I love you" a couple more times. She says, "Get on my back, ride me, let's get out of here." And she jumps. Miki is on her back, and they take off. And oh man, this whole everything is a bummer. I think we get another shot of Devilman running like, "Oh, I gotta get there."
Yep, and then you start seeing little by little the rap group is
falling off.
Yeah, they're getting killed.
Dude with the longer dreads is like just got knives in him and coming out of him. He ends up down.
What are you gonna do with that?
He ends up getting killed by the dude who was driving the van, the tall guy. He says, "What are you gonna do?" and then stabs him.
Yep,
he's down.
And that is some bullshit, dude. It is some bullshit.
This whole episode is just painful, man.
If they would have just mowed a couple of those guys down in the Anime Lives Matter movement.
Wow. It hurts, man. Yeah. This whole episode is a lot of pain.
And it's about to get even worse.
I wrote down all the heroes are dying off.
You see these people, and you really start, in these last couple of episodes, you really start to like these characters, too.
Yeah. I mean, they did some good character work, man. They did some good character work, and just to make you love them so they could take them away. And we get a shot of it's Mickey riding Miko down by the river where Miko likes to run, and they're talking about how they used to run together. She says, "I love you again. I love you too. Let's keep going." Like they're running, and we see gunfire coming from behind, and Miko in her spider form takes a few shots. She's like down. And she says, "Keep running, just keep running." Yeah, and she tells her, "Keep running." There's a little scene
with her on the baton, like they're trying to.
They do the baton pass, man. And she like holds her hand out like she's handing her the baton, and Miki actually does the motion, like she turns away from her, looks back, like she's taking the baton, and then takes off. And this mob of people who are left still chasing them.
Yep.
They're shooting at Miko on the ground. Miko, who's now just her head is in her human form, the rest of her is still demon form. And they just keep shooting her, and she's still talking, and she ends up like smacking one of them, taking their gun and putting it at her own head.
Yeah.
And she says, "Whatever, I know you hate me, I don't care, whatever."
Yeah. Just don't. She's like, "I'm not a monster like you."
Yeah. It's like a real Frankenstein who's the real monster here kind of thing. And she pleads with them. She pleads with them, "Don't kill Mickey.
Yeah.
Let Mickey live. Go. Let Mickey go. Let Mickey go. She's just a human. Let her go. She's like you. Let her go." But she's not like you, obviously.
Yeah.
And we see Mickey still running, and she maybe hesitates for a second when she hears that last gunshot, and she doesn't hear Miko's voice anymore.
Yep.
Miko apparently ending her own life. I wrote down, "All my friends are dead. All my friends are dead." So I'm trying to lighten it up because this shit gets so sad.
Miki is you still see some more Akira running,
and she actually you hear her thinking like her inner monologue like, "Akira, come help," or something like that.
Akira's gonna save me, yada yada, and it is very. Oh, they're hamming it up. That running scene. She's running, and
she's really running.
You see a car pull up
like down on the road, like to paint the scene. There's a road that like falls off into like kind of down to the river where she's running next to the river, and this thing comes down that little slope in front of her, and she stops and she sees in the passenger seat, oh, it's Wamu. And then he just falls out. He's dead. Yeah. Cut full of knives. Just all these like kitchen knives just stabbed into him. He's dead. He's gone. And she actually, I think before that, takes a bullet in the leg, and she's limping now, barely able to run, but she's still moving. She's not going to stop. Barefoot at that. I mean, girl's a runner. And I think there's a bit where she talks about how much she likes to run or something like that.
I always loved running. It's always been very fun to me. I made friends through running. And then
she turns around. She's running the other direction away from these guys in the van now, back to where Miko was. And we see a guy come out of the van, run up behind her with a knife. And it's like, oh, this is where Akira's Devilman's going to swoop in and stop that guy, right? Right? Oh, that knife's getting close. All slow motion. Slice into her back.
Yep. You see a big cut to her back. Cut to Akira.
I gotta get there. Miki, hang on. Yeah. You're the only reason I'm doing anything. You're the only one I want to save. So, like all this stuff. He cares so much.
Yeah.
And he finally...
They really, once again, they're hamming out again. You're like, oh my God. And they kind of leave you with the moment, like, is Miki dead? Is she not dead?
Yeah. And then he gets to the house.
The house is fully ablaze.
In Inferno. And we see just... these people, including our two former rat boyfriends and a bunch of other humans, just reveling in their destruction.
Yep.
Holding these long sticks with like body parts, and we see like one
torsos,
I think arms. Torsos. We see like one torso with a big pair of titties. Okay. Thanks, that was Miko. I think there's a head with a ponytail coming off, also Miko. We see like all these people who they've killed.
You see the Wamu. And Wamu's the one with the dreads.
Yes,
think.
We see the dreads. Yeah, no, Wamu's the one who had the hat on. The other one, the other guy who died earlier, who tall guy killed him with the van.
They actually don't say their names very much in there. So no, it's hard to remember.
You can find them online and stuff. I do remember Wamu though.
Yeah,
but he sees all this happening. He sees these people, and Devilman's just standing there weeping, and he can't believe what he's looking at. Like, how could they do this? He says, you are the real demons. And then the shot that really gets you don't see it well. You see just the silhouette of it, but it is unmistakably Mickey's head on one of the sticks.
And you can tell for sure, for sure that it's her.
Because she has that she earring. Has this pearl earring that Wamu gave her earlier. Yeah.
He gave it to her for protection.
And told her it would protect you.
And you see her head bouncing on that stick. Her
hair just flapping in this burning air.
And it is awful. It is gut-wrenching, dude.
It's so painful, man.
I felt sick to my stomach.
It's so painful.
I could not believe this shit.
That was really sickening. And then Devilman.
What monster animated this bullshit?
I mean, it's horrifying. And then Akira gets his big line. He says, you guys are the real demons. And he says the title of the episode, go to hell, you mortals. Never kill a human. Well, we found his limit.
Yeah.
And he just like Charizard fire blast these fuckers.
Yeah, he
and that's the last thing we see is this flyer covering the screen as he blows them all to hell. And that's the episode. Oh, man.
So there is a great little song there at the end of episode 9.
I love this song.
If you're watching on Netflix, thankfully, they do not cut that episode.
They don't. Normally, they cut your... they cut out the ending... I
kind of don't like that, too, because... Sometimes I like listening to the end songs and opening songs.
Yeah, and sometimes there's like, in a lot of these shows, there's like a next time on whatever, which is kind of fun. But this one, they play this song. It's a different ending theme. If you look it up, it is actually marked as Devilman Crybaby ending theme, even though it only occurs in this one episode. Mm-hmm. And it is called, I have it here, Konya Dake. I think I'm saying that right. The guy says it several times at being Konya Dake, something like that. And it's really beautiful. And as the credits roll, we see Akira in his human form with Mickey on his back, riding his motorcycle, driving by the river, just going fast. She's like hugging him from behind. She's like maybe even asleep. She looks so serene.
Yeah, she's very. You can tell
she's so peaceful.
This is the
and
first
serene,
moment
man.
too. You really, really, really get to tell that She does probably have feelings for Akira.
And it's...
because she is very lovingly holding on to him.
It's a beautiful song and a beautiful, like, little scene they give you there at the end. The fact that we just saw that happen, to me, I'm like, you fuckers have the audacity to show me what could have been.
The nerve.
The fucking gall. Like,
oh my God.
I wrote down crying like Akira, because I was. I wrote down Love This End Credit Song. I wrote down Real Akira Tears. In between that and the rest of it, I have a big frowny face because I'm so sad. I'm so sad about cartoons. But man... and I do want to point out, if the website that I found these lyrics and translations for that song is to be believed, Konya dake, that he says several times throughout the song, means tonight only or just tonight in some form or fashion. And the song, assuming it is like the actual ending theme to Devilman Crybaby, is pretty indicative of like what's going on here. I think like the first verse is "Let me dance tonight, silence tonight only." Just tell me, just tonight, let me dance tonight only. It's kind of like to me in that moment, maybe I'm reading into this too much, but I really like that song. And I really think it was beautiful. But it's kind of like if this is where it ends up, let me have one night of peace. Let me have this one moment. And that's what those ending credits are. We get to see what might have been in a better world with them like just peacefully together. There's also a bit toward the end where as the guy keeps singing, it's a really pretty song. If you haven't, I mean, surely anyone who listens to this has watched the anime, but if you want to check it out, there's a Devilman Crybaby, like the opening and ending theme on Spotify. The album is of course called Man Human. Yeah. The opening theme is called Man Human. It features that song, the anime version of the song, instrumental, and this song, so good. And this song, Konya dake, there's also a bit at the end where like he keeps saying, "Let me dance tonight, only tonight," and in with that is like this kind of like, you know, backing track saying, "Can't stop, I can't stop, it won't stop playing, I can't, it won't stop ringing, it won't stop playing, it won't stop, it won't stop, it won't stop." It keeps saying that, which we'll get to it after this next episode. I feel like that has a meaning too.
Yeah, it very well might.
All right, and so we go into episode 10.
Episode 10, Crybaby.
Oh man, the show hurts. So it starts with we've seen several times this like cliffside, like outcropping, this grassy area where like Akira and Ryo played as kids, and that's where Ryo's waiting. That's where Akira finds him. It's still in his Devilman form, I believe, isn't he? Yep. And
no,
he's not yet. He's not. But he is holding a head. 3 guesses, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, he's holding the head, and he goes there, and he's like, "Ryo, why did you do this?" He's questioning him, and Ryo's just standing there, like, a little smile on his face, like. And then Ryo's like, "Well, check this shit out, dude." Vroomp.
Yeah. Well, first he tells Akira too that I knew I could find you here. I knew you would come here. And Akira's just telling him like, you robbed me of the person I love, my family, all of my friends. You've killed off everybody pretty much. And that's when Akira says, "You're a human. How could you do this to other humans?" And he says, "Well, actually,
whoomp,
I'm not."
And he busts a quick little transformation there, revealing that he's now much taller. He's got wings coming off his head, wings. Back, legs, everything.
12 wings.
And some titties. He's got titties. He's completely nude now.
Yeah, he's got the penises and ding-dongs hanging there.
Yep.
No, not censored, but not fleshed out.
All right. Yeah, you really paid attention to that, huh?
I sure did, dude. I told you.
My name's Roger, and I'm looking for them penises and ding-dongs.
I'm a stickler for detail, okay?
I want to see the pee-pees.
So
Show me the pee-pees.
This very, very beautiful man-woman.
Well, I think it's intentionally androgynous. Yeah, and we can talk about that more in a second. But yeah,
well, and it's because who it is.
Yeah, it's Satan, the fallen angel.
Yep, the fallen angel,
the most beautiful of the angels, etc., etc. Oh man, so he goes on to just explain everything. Yeah, he explains that that intro we had with the foreshadowing and whatnot, where we saw those little those little lights that all had people in them he looks awful lot like they did there, and one of them falls, the fallen angel, lands on Earth, finds it covered with demons, and they're all like, he finds out how they confuse and become more powerful and this and that.
Mm-hmm. He kind of likes their simple, the simplicity behind the demons.
That's what he says.
And the way that they, if they're weak, they merge together.
Yeah.
They make themselves stronger by working together. Mm-hmm. He likes that. He's
into it. So we find out he was apparently incarnated or born into that village. Mm-hmm. Back in Peru, maybe some kind of like, second coming of Satan, I guess, Antichrist, whatever you want to say, but he was born into it. And oh man, it's just a lot. There's a lot of exposition here, but the basic story is he is in fact Satan. Yeah, he's been running things, and now he's here to he finally wipe out the humans that he hates. He doesn't like humans.
He was fleeing God. Mm-hmm. He found Earth. He liked the demons. God found him there. Mm-hmm. God wiped him and the demons completely out.
Turns out that's what the dinosaurs were.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives you a very weird shot that one of them definitely looks like a dinosaur.
That's for sure a pterodactyl I'm looking at. He's just gotten some extra eyes or something.
God wipes out everybody. That was the exploding planet that you've seen at the very beginning. That is what happened.
And what ended up coming in the result of that event is Earth. It exists now.
Yes,
like after it's like the kind of like the meteor that killed the dinosaur.
Humans started populating Earth. And apparently, I'm guessing this is one of the few instances where you have to draw a line here. Yeah, because I said in the first lot you draw these. It was ridiculous, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where they expect you to draw these. You just gotta
kind of accept this.
By episode 6, it kind of stops that. Mm-hmm. Everything is kind of drawn, and this is one of those little small leaps that you have to take. To where,
if you got this far, you're along for the ride.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's he just kind of lays it all out and tells it how it is.
Yeah, and he is. Well, the thing is, you have to assume that some demons survive.
I did say Rio, right? I didn't accidentally call him Akira.
You said Rio, I believe.
Okay, thank God.
But yeah, you have to.
We'll find out when we listen back.
With the exploding planets, that some demons did survive. A very few, a small amount of them.
Yeah, somehow.
And they were able to reincarnate Satan as Rio.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely how it appears.
And his mind is blocked away, and somehow some of these demons too, like Amon and Psycho Jenny, mm-hmm. they were together before with Satan. They were his army.
Well, Psycho Jenny in particular, we'll need to talk about later, but yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Mm-hmm. It is a whole lot. It is a whole lot to take in and try to figure out what's going on. In this.
And so Rio finally, after explaining everything as much as he does, mm-hmm. he invites Akira to join them. He opens his arms to him. He's like, "Come on, baby, give me a hug. Like, come home."
Yeah, hey, you're still my best friend.
He's like, yeah. He says he wanted him to be to work with him. That's why he made the general or something Amon go into his body.
Is it champion? Amon
champion.
Is
that's
champion.
Right, champion. That's what he calls him. And Akira's like, dude, fuck all the way off.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight you. The next time I see you, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah. And he says, and if I don't kill you, well, I will gladly accept that fate, but I'm dragging you to hell with me.
Mm-hmm. It's heavy, man. Mm-hmm. Just vows it, and Satan's kind of like, "Oh, buddy,
yeah, you don't really want to fight me. You can't." He's essentially passing off like, "Hey, you don't want to fight me. Hey, you're still gonna come around.
This is not.
And also, if you do fight me, I'm going to kill you. You will die."
Oh boy! So then, Akira transforms into Devilman. He's got his wings back. He flies away, mm-hmm. and he
makes a little flowery thingy for.
Well, there's a whole, he lands in like just the most of the world is just wasteland, destroyed buildings at this point, mm-hmm. It looks like. Yeah. And he lands in this area where there's all this twisted metal, and you see a lot of it is actually in the shape of these crosses. So I'm like, dude, I buried everyone, I guess. For sure, his friends and everything in the family. But the last one he buries is Miki. You see her head with these flowers, a little flower crown, and on a bed of flowers. He lays her down, her head.
Yeah.
And finishes it. I And the little devil cat is there. And apparently devilmen from all around the world that are like him have come to make a stand.
Yep.
Having heard Miki's words and all that. And they show up and you see a bunch of these crazy looking demon things, these devilmen, including Coach. Hey, that was a really fun scene.
You see the coach or whatever, and he's actually
Mr. Frog Tongue. Yeah, he's still sitting in his wheelchair, and he's like, yeah, and he jumps up and transforms. He's like, let's go. He's like, oh, Coach. Oh, a little bit of levity before just everything goes all extra to shit. Before and after everything goes to shit.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, man. Apparently they nuke Paris. the demons, Satan and his demons nuke Paris. Apparently, I wrote down full on apocalypse. We're going into it, man.
Yeah.
Satan is there with his 7-headed beast and 7 horns, 7 crowns. Hey, man, we've all read Revelations, right?
Yeah.
It's just me. All right. But it's going down, man. Satan's blowing up entire fleets by himself. Like, humanity is trying to fight back.
Yeah.
Nuked Paris. These ships are coming after him, and Ryo's just like, whatever. And like one wing, one hand, just wiping out everything. He's diving into the ocean and destroying like submarines and shit. I mean, it's outrageous. Dude is like so strong, is what we're seeing here. And I don't know. I don't know if this takes place over weeks, days, or hours, but I mean, he wipes out humanity straight up. It is full on demon apocalypse.
They found the last of the humans.
The last of the humans in this big. It looks like some kind of like I don't know, like what do you call them? Like when you have the cliff things like that, the desert plateaus or whatever. Yeah. I don't know, something like that. They're all, what little is left is held up in there, and there's like, you know, anti-air fire coming off of it, and they're trying to shoot down any demons that are flying around. Oh boy. I did write down, well, not full on apocalypse. The moon is not yet half blood. So that's another little Revelations bit for y'all. Last of humanity is holed up. They're being attacked. And I think it's time for a final battle.
I think so.
And we see Akira dive. He's like, Devilman, dive. And like they go in, man. All these Devilmen show up. They're attacking the demons.
A freaking gnarly march, man, in the air.
Oh man, it is going down. A few of the demons actually or Devilmen, I guess, get into this this facility or whatever where the humans are being kept, and they find some other people. I will point this out, and I don't know if it's intentional, but I know what it looked like to me, and I don't know how I feel about it. But as they are flying through this thing, they kind of look down and see all these humans just like laying there. And the way that they're all just like laying on the ground. They're not like sitting, they're not walking, they're not running. They're all laying on the ground. And it looks a whole lot like the diagram of the Brooke slave ship, if you've ever seen that one. It's uncanny.
I have not.
Let me show you this picture and you tell me what you think, because it looks like, maybe you'll remember this scene, but it looks a lot like it. And I don't know how to feel about any of that, but this is definitely what it looked like to me. If you just like look at that top half of that, like as they're flying over, you see humans like laying down like that. It looks an awful lot like that.
Oh yeah, it does.
And I'm not entirely sure what they were trying to say there, but it was a little weird.
I'm not certain that this was what they were going for.
Yeah,
I thought it was more or less it was a Holocaust. It looked like a Holocaust.
Well, I get that, and then I mean, comparing it to any horrible tragedy such as, but it was kind of, I don't know why else they'd all be laying down like that if it wasn't one or the other.
And the kitchen sink in, so why not?
Yeah, it was real wild, man.
We got Donald Trump.
We got cannibalism. We got beheadings. We got heads on sticks. We got Paris getting nuked. We got possible allusions to the slave trade and/or Holocaust, and anime Trump.
Yep,
man,
it's got it all.
What a show! Oh boy, it's rough. So these demons like fly in, they find some other demons, one of which is like producing some kind of weird milk. They break them out. It's like, is this them? And then that weird milk gets on one of them and dissolves them.
Yep.
It's a freaky series of scenes.
Yeah, he's just tracking down all the Devilmen that he can.
Yeah, it's really wild. So final battle time. I wrote that down. Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of weird science going on. Okay, we see like Psycho Jenny like messing up some people earlier. Actually, she does like her psychedelic like wow 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 like stuff and like hits a bunch of humans and they're all holding guns and they all like turn them on themselves and blow their own heads off. At this point, we get what is maybe my I don't know, but we see Psycho Jenny, this floating redhead horrible Joker face thing. And we know she has like some kind of psychokinetic powers, maybe. I don't know. Mind control, maybe. Maybe that's why Rio's like that. And
yeah, it seems like she's the one that's kind of orchestrated and carried Rio along this whole time.
She actually, this is one point I do want to make. She says, as they're beginning their assault on humanity, she does have a line where she says something like, "We weren't sure you were coming back. You were wounded in the previous battle." And we'll get to that.
Okay.
But that is a thing she says. So, at this point, she dies. The way she dies is these dudes with jet boots and some kind of giant thumbtacks.
Yeah.
Stab her.
Yeah. Yeah, she just starts getting... I didn't notice they were giant thumbtacks.
It's Psycho Jenny versus the flying thumbtack. They're like these big spears.
But yeah, they
on
are...
the front of which are like between... Like if I'm holding a big spear and the big spear like goes to a point, right in front of me where I'm holding it is this big, huge, round shield. It looks like a big-ass thumbtack.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying,
It's
and I did
so odd.
Yeah.
It's so, and she like tries to like, she's just floating there because she's got like, you know, tiny arms and legs. She's all head with these tiny arms and
all
legs
head.
coming off of this giant, all head, baby. And she like shoots out, she has these crazy diamond eyes, which also is like the diamond eye thing is what shows up during the intro. Finally got that one. Mm-hmm. But she like does her diamond eye thing, like shoots out these psycho rays, and they don't go through those shields. That's the only reason they're able to get this close to her. And these three of them like stab into her. One of them, like the other end of it appears to be a spear, and it stabbed through him too. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
it's strange.
It's like she can transfer the.
It's weird.
I've seen something else like that too, and I can't remember what it was.
It's very odd.
Where
these flying jet boot thumbtack boys are my new favorite characters. I don't know, man. It's just odd.
I can't remember what that was.
Hey, you'll think of it.
I think it might have been an anime. Maybe it was a video game. But essentially, you know, they would do damage to them.
Yeah. I mean, they're basically bumblebees. Like, they stab, but they also die. It's weird.
The person, Psycho Jenny in this instance, transferred what was happening to her over to them.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to commit to that.
Sort of like Precious on American Horror Story.
I've never...
Kind of.
All right. Well, first of all, her name isn't Precious. It's Gabrielle Sidibe.
Yeah, I don't know her name. I just know that she played Precious.
Well, I do, and you should feel bad for not.
And also that she played in American Horror Story. Let me shame you,
Roger. Let me shame you. I've never watched American Horror Story. Come on. But yeah. Her name is Gabby Sidibe.
The battle is raging. Psycho Jenny falls. Psycho Jenny also is trying to get Rio, Satan, to go fight elsewhere. Let her take care of Akira.
And he refuses.
Yes.
Satan says, no, I'm going to handle this.
Also, her colorful powers, too, are what seems to be what's the catalyst for the
of the
Sabbaths.
demon stuff. Yeah, the Sabbaths, like, it looks very familiar when she does her crazy powers, I wouldn't be so surprised if I went back and watched that first episode if there wasn't like a frame where you see her in one corner of that Sabbath or something.
Like a center, like you can't really tell that she's not part of the.
Yeah, it's pretty freaky. But yeah, she ends up getting stabbed by the flying jet boot thumbtack boys, my new favorite characters. All of them die. Everybody dies.
Yeah.
Eventually, literally, but. So that happens.
Swoops into, and then, you know,
I wrote down weird tactic absolutely worked with these flying thumbtack boys. So now, as all this is going down and just everyone's fighting everybody, Devil Cat ends up getting cut pretty early on in the battle.
He was like the first one to go. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Good old Devil. I mean, what's he gonna do? Flash his tail at him? Yes, but it's not enough. Why
first? He's my little buddy.
He was flying in right there with. He was like Akira's like second in command. Yeah, he was like right there with him, like with his little squeaky voice.
Yep,
it was really cute. And then he absolutely got cut in half and died.
Yeah.
So
Coda flies in and and Akira absolutely
just you are nothing. You are nothing. Bye, and just tears through him like he's not even there.
This guy,
goes like, I'm gonna handle.
Yeah, like once again, this guy that is so sad. He has
He's so sad about everything, and then so redcoat about everything, and then just easy pickings, baby. You are not even worth it. Oh my god, it's great.
Yeah, it was. I thought that was perfect. There was no fight. He destroyed him.
No, it was not even close.
Yeah,
so
I loved it.
Yeah, this battle goes on. All this is happening. We see finally Akira and Ryo, Devilman and Satan really showing down and just punching at each other. Devilman's arms get ripped off. Demon flies in, says, like, please use me, and like slices his head off so that he can attach to him. And this crazy like lamprey snake looking thing fuses with his missing arm, and now he's got like this crazy huge wiggle arm, and he like punches the
he's got the gum fist.
Wow. Get your One Piece out of my Devilman.
Fisting, dude.
Get your One Piece out of my Devilman. Satan is throwing these like lightning bolt projectiles that they're like in the stratosphere at this point, just duking it out, and he's throwing these huge lightning bolts that like apparently hit the earth and are so huge they look like the earth is a tennis ball, and these are giant needles sticking out of it. They're huge, visible from like freaking Saturn, massive. I mean, just this huge battle it's super rad. Akira punches him so hard that like he's from the stratosphere, like you see the ocean beneath them, like bow under the shockwave of this punch. It's awesome, man. It's a really good fight.
Yeah, it's like it leads up to, and it delivers. that is good to say, because everything this anime has dished out to you, you get this fight, and this fight does deliver. Yeah,
man, it's huge. And then
but it also ends in a bummer.
Well, so Devilman flying after punches the crap out of Ryo or Satan. Satan flies into like an iceberg, I think, and he's like down in this huge icy cavern, like at the bottom of it, and Devilman's flying in to go for the kill, and we see Satan's face just like fly out of it, and this like appendage, maybe a wing, maybe a hand, I don't know, fly in front of him, and then there's this huge blast, everything goes white, and then we see all's nothing.
Yep.
It's like some end of Evangelion shit. There's just red everywhere, lava water, I don't know. Yeah, there's like this little piece of land where it pans down and we see Satan laying there, kind of in the background. In the foreground, closer to what would be the camera, you see Akira, human form, just laying there. And he's just laying there.
Yep.
And Satan goes on his little monologue. Ryo goes on this little monologue. They have a nice chat at the end of the world, I wrote down.
Where he's essentially, he's talking to Akira.
We see a bunch of scenes of like, what happened to him, how he ended up, where he ended up, where Akira found him. That very beginning scene, hey, are you okay? And he's helping him up. You see these scenes of them like how Ryo was kind of your typical the Omen Damien character, like always wanting to kill something or fight something or being a little asshole, and Akira's always there to stop whatever's happened. He cheers up a little girl when like Ryo is like messing with her doll. Yeah, they're in a hot spring, and this fool always has that box cutter. He was about to cut a capybara. What the fuck? It's just a series of weird these little scenes where they're children. Oh man. And we also see, now this is one thing that I thought was very interesting, as he's giving this monologue and he's getting more and more impassioned about what he's saying, like talking as Satan's saying all this to Akira. We get these other little scenes where we see as children they're doing a relay race.
Yep.
And we see like a little girl hand off the baton to Akira. We see Akira. They show it several times where he's reaching out to Ryo with the baton, and Ryo just stands there. He doesn't even take it. He's just like, what? And it just falls.
Yeah.
And this happens over and over again. Like everybody's running this race. Everybody's being a team player. Everybody's doing it. But Ryo's looks like just like, no, he refuses to. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want any of it. And then there's he says a line from the very first episode, the very beginning. He says something like, love isn't, I used to think this. He says, I used to think love isn't real. and then nothing can hurt you or something like that.
Yeah, you can't feel sorrow if love isn't real.
Exactly. And then he says he used to think that. He does everything but say, I love you.
Yep.
He clearly does, though.
He is pretty much admitting that he fell in love with Akira.
That's what's happening in this monologue and these scenes and everything. He's talking about how this pure-hearted boy who was always there, to help. He ended up Satan fell in love with this guy.
with Akira. And
then he says, Akira, why am I the only one talking?
Yeah. And it's like he's completely unaware that he killed Akira.
It zooms out and you see...
And his whole lower half of his torso is gone.
Waist down, there is no Akira. He's talking to a corpse.
Yep, and he starts breaking down.
He's like, no, don't leave. Don't leave.
Yeah, Mr.
Be here.
And that's what's really great about this anime, is that there are these characters like Satan himself, in which you would ultimately judge as
pure
all
evil.
Bad, totally bad, nothing good about him. Yet there is no sorrow because there is no love, feels sorrow because he loves somebody. Mm-hmm. That is a real emotion. That is,
that's the mark of like a good piece of art, a good anything, is that it makes you feel these guttural, these real, these jerk emotions, these knee-jerk reactions.
Yep.
And in that moment, even though you just saw him cause literally the apocalypse, you kind of feel bad for the devil. Yep. You have, if I may, some sympathy for the devil.
Yeah, oh, God.
I gotta hit you with one of those. It was Steam last time, it's sympathy for the devil this time, you fucker.
Steam?
You loved it. You loved it. But yeah, that's what happens.
It is a very, it's like a touching moment, like he killed the only, his friend.
The only thing he loved. He didn't even mean to, it seems like. Yeah. He wanted him to just join him. Why didn't you just join me? No.
And that's kind of why I kept bringing it up. He was so sure that Akira was coming to him. Mm-hmm. He was so sure. And that's because he was so sure because he wanted him to be there.
And as Ryo, Satan is hugging Akira's what's left of him to him, saying, don't leave, come back, don't leave. It zooms out and we see those little white angelic balls falling to earth.
Yep, the angels have come.
And God hits that reset button.
Yep.
And just roll credits.
Yep. There is
the credits roll. There is a little scene at the end of the credits.
Yeah.
Where we see that molten planet, like at the beginning, with these asteroids and like debris floating around it. And then it kind of cools and zooms out, and we see the Earth.
Yep.
And there's the moon, and then next to it is what another
appears
moon.
To be Saturn. I don't know.
Appears to be a second moon.
Yeah.
Maybe. He does cut the moon in half at one point. That's how that whole conversation starts, because he cut the moon in half. And they have a scene where, as children, he's like, oh, there's a rabbit in the moon. No, it's not. It's just shadows because of the change in altitude or whatever. Like,
yeah, that's how he starts out.
And he says, he's like, Satan standing there at the end of the world actually says, oh, I guess the rabbit's dead too, or something like that. It's very, it's I don't know what the word for it is. Melancholy, I guess. Yeah. It's sad, but it's beautiful.
It. I mean, yeah. And you're like, well, now I'm extremely depressed.
Well, see, that's the thing. So let's talk about...
It is depressing, dude. It is depressing.
Let's talk about I really liked... It is very depressing, but it's also like... I guess it in its own way, it's hopeful because there is a reset, there is a renewal, it is new, it's happening. Perhaps it's happening again, which is kind of where I wanted to go with that. But it seems like everything started over. That was, I think, that Red Jenny comment where she says you were wounded so badly before. Mm-hmm. Like maybe she's aware that it's happening again. Yeah. Certainly seems that way. And in fact, now that we are done with episode 10 and we finished it, guys, we got there. All right.
We didn't even cry once.
I mean, not
we
now.
weren't the crybabies.
Certainly during watching. No, I didn't actually like shed any tears, but I almost did.
Man, there were a couple of points where like I could feel
you can feel it welling up. Yeah, it's man, what a show. So I do want to talk about how it compares to like the older series, which again, I certainly have seen nothing of Devilman before this, and you haven't either.
I haven't seen. I've seen Devil Lady. I have Devil Lady.
I've seen Devil Lady.
Yes,
okay.
I have.
Nice.
I have it around here somewhere.
Yeah, so again, having known nothing of this before, I read a lot of Wikipedias and got some info, did some research, and this is, as we said before we started, this is like the Wikipedia I read, like, for the show before we even started watching it, talked about how it was perhaps a more faithful telling of the manga, but it's set in a modern setting and whatnot. And reading about that original manga and the anime series, it's almost beat for beat what goes down.
Yeah.
Mickey does end up dead. Everybody ends up dead. Probably the biggest difference is that Akira's parents are already dead when it starts. Okay. They died on a trip to Antarctica, like an expedition or something, or scientists. And it pretty much goes down like that. In the original series, I think, and again, this could all be apocryphal because I'm just reading it on Wikipedia. I haven't seen any of the media, but it talks about how Ryo, when he reveals himself as Satan, instead of being like so androgynous or whatever, they actually say he's a hermaphrodite. And it's in the Devil Lady series. In fact, the two main characters, June and I want to say Lynn, who's like the Akira and Ryo characters, kind of, they actually end up being the two halves of Satan or something. It's weird. That
sounds right. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah, well, from what I've read, but like that might have even been just the manga series. But so what seems to be happening here, and let me tell you, kids, if you're gonna make a show or something, you want to get some royalties, you make sure you build a back door in like this, because what appears to be happening and what is actually said throughout some of these series is that this is in fact just a big time loop, with the only people really being aware of it are as God, some of his high-ranking angels, and Psycho Jenny. This does keep happening over and over again. Psycho Jenny was making reference to the previous iteration when she said he was injured, and it's really interesting. That's a really good way to like have this story. You can, like, 20 years from now, we might see another Devilman series that's basically the same story, but with some tweaks and differences, and like that's kind of like what Devil Lady was.
And Netflix boasts very, very willy-nilly, hey, this is season 1. So
maybe we'll get another one. I don't know.
I would like to see them redo Devil Lady or some of the other Devilman stuff.
Maybe that can be season 2 or something.
Because I think there is another Devilman 2 that they can go to as well.
I'll say that, like, honestly, having watched it, I don't know that I want more of this specific story. It feels so good. It feels so good the way it wraps up.
I don't think I would want this story. I think I would want like a season 2, like to be Devil Lady or something like that.
From what I read, and again, this might be the manga, not the anime. I haven't read either of them. But the Devil Lady thing, actually, I was reading stuff about how this character is like kind of a female version of Akira. This character is kind of a female version of Ryo. Of course, ends up being androgynous at the end. Well, turns out she was born, or say it right, Brandon, designated male at birth, and then had some kind of psychic powers that she used to like suppress her hormones and lived as a woman and transitioned.
Absolutely right.
And then apparently, and I don't know if this is anime or just the manga or what, but apparently Akira does show up. And Ryo shows up, but he's not Satan. He's like a reincarnation of Dante or something. Who wrote the Inferno, Dante's Inferno and all that. And Akira shows up, and like it ends up being that the two, like, female Akira, female Ryo, end up being like halves of Satan that may or may not reassume or whatever. Like, if you're gonna do a season 2, what I'm saying is I don't want a continuation of this story. Maybe give me like, okay, reset, there's 2 moons, here's Devil Lady.
Yeah.
Here's something else. Something different.
Yeah.
If it continues at all. Because you've already got so much groundwork there and so much you can work with and so much you could bring into the modern setting as they did with this. I really like this show. I wouldn't mind seeing more, but not of this specific story. Because I said
earlier,
it was perfect.
Before we started this, I said this was really good. I liked it a lot. I'll never watch it again.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. I've told a lot of people about
something really good does, though. Like, something extremely good, you only need to watch it that once.
Yeah, I'm with you. But like I've been telling a lot of people about this. I've had friends come in and, you know, we've chatted about this or that, and I've dropped, me and my buddy Roger, my good buddy Roger, are doing this anime podcast, and, you know, check this out. We're talking about this show. Oh, what's that show about? Let me tell you what that show's about.
Let me tell you about this show.
Check it. It's really, yeah. I feel like this is a thing that like, I feel like it's good to watch. I feel like it's. I saw an article as I was searching for this before we even started that was just like a review. I didn't read it at the time, but it said something like Devilman Crybaby is Netflix's first anime masterpiece. I'm inclined to agree.
Me too.
I think it's very well done.
Me too.
I think it's very well done.
And you would never get that off of those first couple of episodes.
God, no. I mean, I said it before, I'll say it again. I would not have finished watching that episode 1 if I just stumbled across it.
I'm really
glad.
Good.
I'm really glad I stuck with it, though.
I could not recommend it enough to watch it at least one time through.
That said, whenever I do recommend it, I always say, now, be prepared. It is graphic in every sense of the world. There's a lot of gore. There's a lot of sex. There's a lot of, oh, man. But stick it out because you're in for a fucking ride.
Yeah, it's great. And yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. I like it really, a lot, man. Really enjoyed it.
We're not gonna like rate it like on 5 or whatever.
No, but I will give you the option. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to say about it? Anything you want to relay that might get lost in translation to some viewers out there?
Here's the thing I like to do is if you could describe something in like 3 words. And my 3 would be painful and graphic.
Yeah.
And masterful.
Yep.
It is very well done. It is real bad. It is real good. It is a piece. Real piece. It's really good.
Yep, I would use graphic in mine.
Yeah, for sure graphic. In every sense of the word.
I would use stylish.
Oh, yes. I like that.
And I would use heartbreaking.
Certainly so.
But another thing, like I kind of touched on it earlier, it's really cool. This anime is good because it does this explaining what you might perceive, taking like a real world thing away from it. What you might perceive as bad or good might not be bad or good all the way through. It's like homeboy Coda, who, once again, he cried. You thought and he turned out to be
just a
maybe
real
the biggest piece of garbage in the entire, worse than Satan. Well, I'm not gonna say
he's pretty bad. I think that little fucker with the hoodie on was worse than Satan. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, little turd.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad in this. There's a lot of good in it.
Worse than Satan is
it's a bit much.
Yeah, but as far as like feeling wise or whatever, at least Satan left with a redeemable quality about him.
Even that,
I can't say that for that guy, but people loved him.
I mean,
people loved him.
I don't want to say.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I will admit I felt some sympathy for the devil. I'll say it again. Yeah. But I don't know that I would say he was redeemable at all. Okay. Because none of this happens without.
I would say there was a redeemable quality that he has love. And that is good.
Look, I'm down with the Rolling Stones reference, but don't make me say Satan's cool. Like,
I'm not gonna say that. All I'm saying is that, like, there was a character that the humans, they loved, they adored him. He was so talented. Mm-hmm. There's nothing they could do, and he is, he was bad. Yeah, he was bad. Whereas, Akira is a good example where they immediately thought that he was awful once they figured out that he was a
weirdo. Yeah, he's a demon. And
and it turns out he's
the best person. He's the man, human.
I love that Ryo is all white most of the time, and Akira is all black most of the time too. You got a good contrast there. You got your yin and yang. You got the black is the good in this instance, and the white is the bad, where it's another illusion you can draw to maybe not all things you think are good and bad are good and bad.
Sure.
Yep.
I'm with you. But what did you think, Good Buddy Universe? I want to hear your questions and comments. Send them on in. Like, legit, if y'all got ideas or theories about all that stuff, if you want to tell us what you thought of it,
you can send it to thegoodbuddiesAnimePod@gmail.com. I won't spell it out for you this time, unless you want me to.
Nah, it's okay.
Okay. The Good Buddies Anime Pod.
No.
Yeah. The Good Buddies Anime Pod@gmail.com. I'll repeat it a couple of times.
The Good Buddies Anime Pod.
Send us in your thoughts and send us in questions. We answered some questions last time, and we have
Is it time?
We have one question.
Oh, what's our theme song again? Here come the questions, and they send them in, and we're gonna talk about them. Can you give me a guitar solo there, bro? Hell yeah.
Let me pull up that question. I had it. I don't know. There it is. Because I don't want to word it wrong or miss a part of it. Because it is a very good question. It is from our buddy Clayton.
All right, Clayton.
And he asked, is fan service good or bad? And is there quote unquote good fan service and quote unquote bad fan service?
That's...
Really like this question. It's a good question.
That's a good question.
Especially for an anime podcast.
Do you have an opinion? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I think that fan service, I don't think it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does have good things about it. It definitely does. It can, if used right, you can use it wrong. I will say that.
Yeah, no shit.
If used right, you can really bring yourself to, or the crowd, the audience watching, to connect to the characters to some other level. Sure. Whether it be, they like them a lot more, or whether it be that they're actually attracted to them, something like that. They have attractive qualities or whatever. It brings you closer to that character, and that's what you want to do. You want people to love your characters.
Sure.
But you can do that in a classy way, and you can do it in ways where it's just a cash-in. That's where I think fan service gets bad.
Okay.
It's whenever it takes over the show. Whenever it takes over the greater story that you're telling, and it's more fan service than it is
story.
Show. Yeah, and story. That's when it's bad. And some animes do this. There are complete cash-ins on, let's just make it, especially females, a lot of fan service. When you hear that word, you think of, shots of butts and boobies and jiggling and stuff like that. And that's where I say, if you do a little bit of it or whatever, and you bring people, you attract them to that character in one way or another, you're doing something right. But once that character starts losing itself over just them waiting for those parts to happen, they become more of an object than they are some sort of feeling or an idea that's put out there.
Yeah.
That's when it's bad. That's kind of my thoughts on it. I know it's a bit of a word soup ramble there, but I hope that kind of made sense.
I think I get what you're saying, man. I would mostly agree with you, yeah. I think that fan service is not inherently a terrible thing, but it certainly can be taken...
I like to see me a booty or maybe a boobie in anime every now and then. Doesn't bother me.
You love seeing that Pee-wee in this one.
I love Evangelion, and they boast that more fan service is coming, but they do it in a tasteful manner for the most part.
Sure. I think specifically there's a fairly famous quote that is often misquoted from I think Miyazaki, who there's a clip you can find of him that you'll often, if you Google anime is trash, you'll find this picture of Miyazaki where he's being quoted as saying anime is trash. And my understanding, now granted I don't speak Japanese, I don't know what he was saying, but my understanding is that was a misquote, and what he was saying was specifically this certain culture about it. Perhaps he actually calls out otaku culture, but the thing that specifically he's saying is that instead of being about the art and about the story and the what you're making, it was like you said, more of a cash in, where it's all about getting the specific demographic perhaps to get into this, and the way you do that is by, like you said, titties and booties and blah, 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 blah. All the B words. And it
doesn't even necessarily have to be, the boobs and the
nudity
butts,
and stuff. Yeah,
but it doesn't necessarily have to. It can be even like the chibi and stuff, over adorabilizing them and stuff stuff like that, to where.
But so what I'm getting as I think
adorabilizing,
certainly cutifying is the term we would use. Cutified. We got to cutify this, boys. How else are we gonna get all those kids into it? Mm-hmm. I feel like. Again, I could be misunderstanding the quotation from Miyazaki there, but I would pretty heartily agree with that, because when you see like stuff that's like okay, for example, that clip I showed you that's on Verve of that A Sister Is All You Need or something like that show. Granted, I have not watched it. I don't think I ever will, honestly, because I've seen these clips.
Yeah, I'm not watching that.
But there's like bits where, like, the clip in particular was this dude holding in front of what appears to be a very young girl an egg on some chopsticks, and she goes to eat it and like gets it in her mouth. She's going and then she pulls back and there's like saliva dripping off it, and she's like licking it and shit. And it's so clearly
raunchy, dude.
It's just like, so obviously like an allegory for a penis, an egg penis. And it's like, this has no story. What possible story quality could this have? It is purely just so that you see, you can imagine this character licking on your wiener. That's the stuff I don't think I'm ever gonna be cool with. And like that stuff, no, not at all. I think fan service can be done tastefully. I think it has its own place, but if that's what you're doing specifically to try and get the clicks and the monies and everything, and it's not about whatever your art form is or should be, that is a problem for sure.
So on the other hand of like the whole egg sucking thing,
go suck an egg. Go suck an egg, Roger.
There's another thing out there, like, I don't know if you've ever seen, I think it's called Food Wars. I don't remember.
Jesus.
So they make these, I could be butchering that. I've only seen clips of my little brother was watching it, and I've always wanted to watch it because it looks great. But they make really good food. It's a tournament anime, essentially, but with food. Okay. And so when they eat the food...
It was like Iron Chef?
Yeah, they eat the food, okay, and these people go into this orgasmic state where their clothes are busting off.
Like it's that good.
Yeah, and they're moaning and stuff like that.
Oh, the mouthfeel of this chocolate cake.
And in that instance, I like it because that's part of the show. That's part of the story. Yeah, it's good. But, you know, where you have this young girl sucking on an egg like a penis, that's a different level.
Yeah, it's weird. And granted, like I said, like I think we made reference to in episode 0 when I brought that up. It is, that character is supposed to be 18. Yeah, she looks like fucking 12. Yeah, like there's no way that's ever gonna be okay.
For that, I believe. But and there
is it Lolly or Lodi? Because it's like a
I
Loli.
think it's Lolly.
Because it's a playoff of Lolita, right?
I don't know. I always say Lolly-chan.
Just like the.
But there are people out there too that will immediately condemn an anime for its fan service, and I think that's kind of crappy too.
Well, I feel like there's levels of that, because even like one of my I think I called it number 2. It might even be number 1. I don't know. Gurren Lagann has like a character named Yoko Littner who is like wears a flame covered bikini, and she has a big sniper rifle. And I mean, there's an episode that's like their chill out episode where they're all at the beach, and there's a lot of, I mean, it's not like, the thing is it's not like overtly sexual. It's just like, this is a day at the beach, but you do see a bunch of these characters in their bikinis and in their swim trunks and having a good time at the beach. And that, I think that, for example, is done tastefully. If that show had done that, and then like every shot of one of the girls in their bikini was like them eating an ice cream cone dripping onto her chest, then clearly we're getting to another place. Yep. And
but to condemn fan service altogether, I think is like, you're gonna miss out.
I think it's right to be very wary of it, for sure.
And you have a right to, like, if you don't like it, you don't like it, but you're alienating yourself from a whole lot of good stuff. And you're like willingly doing that just because, you know, you don't want to see the close up on the butt. You know? And like, it's something you have to learn to accept too. Yeah, you don't have to, but if you really want to get into anime and you want to see all the good stuff, then you're going to have to learn to accept, because it's going to be there. There's going to be some and 90% of the anime made.
And see, that's this whole conversation is the reason I'll never call myself an anime fan outright. I'll never call.
Dude, by the end of this podcast, by the time that we are done,
there's going to be an end.
Our good buddy Brandon Bush is going to be an anime fan. Dude, it's okay to tell people that you like anime.
I like some shows.
You don't have to tell them you like the animes. Okay, you can say
whole waifu conversation.
My name is Brandon Bush, and I like anime.
Well, I do. I'm not gonna say it in those words, but I do. I like some shows. It's okay. I like some animes. I wouldn't say I like all. I wouldn't say anime as a complete form. I enjoy, because there's some shit out there that I'm just not into. But yeah,
You had something about the waifu?
Oh, okay, yeah, let's talk about that. So, First of all, the term waifu I'm never going to be okay with. Back in my day, we said blank is best girl. Is what we said.
Oh, you like best girl.
I prefer best girl because waifu, if I Google a waifu etymology, the first result says waifu is an English term that means this, that mean like for wife. And if you have to say waifu and English, it sounds racist. Mm-hmm. But whether it is fine, I get it. It's from like, it was a lot of people cite as being from Azumanga Daioh, which cute show, whatever. It feels weird to say waifu. I don't like saying waifu. But on that question we got before, who's your waifu?
Like gaifu?
No. I often see husbando, which isn't based on anything. It's not based on anything. It's literally just someone saying, this is how they would say it, right? It's like, okay, well, you've crossed it several lines. But, so, listen. So we had that question last week that was, who's your waifu? You had an answer. I did not. I said I don't look at things through that lens. And I still don't have an answer for animes.
Okay.
But here's a realization I came to. Is that when I'm watching these shows, it's all scripted. I see what's happening. It's not that the characters are two-dimensional. They're not fleshed out. They very often are. But I am not, like, I'm seeing them and I'm emotionally vested in their story. I'm not part of it. So it's hard for me to form bonds to these characters so much.
Yeah, I get that.
Now, after that recording session and after that question and that night, I did go home. I did sit on my bed. I did turn on Dragon Age Inquisition.
Spanked the hell out of that monkey.
No, I did not. I turned on Dragon Age because I finally started playing, and I finally just finished it last night. But I found myself as my player character interacting with these characters, and then I went, oh, I get it. Because I do get it when I'm like part of it. You see what I mean? So if the best girl thing is relating to, I still don't get it with anime. It's just not my bag. But I get it. I get the attraction and enjoyment of the character.
Yeah, if you find it in a video game, it's same thing, different coat of paint.
Yeah, basically. So I get it, guys.
Yes. Okay.
I'm still not gonna call anyone.
I don't think anybody's calling you out for it, but some people are just completely, totally not comfortable with it, and that's okay.
I did not spank that monkey.
I will.
You fucking weirdo.
And I spanked that monkey.
We said no more jizz talk.
Yeah. And I blew my demon ejaculate.
Jesus Christ.
I shot my string shot.
Stop. Please
straight
stop.
out of my wheedle.
Please stop. I'm gonna cry.
But yeah, I am very good about, especially with anime, and with video games too, I attach myself to those characters.
I definitely feel attachment.
I do. I leech myself to them.
To me, when you say
25 episodes, they are my best friend in the world.
It's just, to me, when you say like waifu, when you say that, you're talking about like, it says it's supposed to be like wife. It's the person you care for. Yeah. And that's like, if you imagined being with that person. Yeah, I do not imagine that for cartoon characters. I do not imagine that for cartoon characters. I just don't. Okay. I don't get it.
That's fine. That's fair, buddy. That's fair. That's okay.
That's not my bag, baby.
So, let's tell you guys what we're going to be watching next.
What are we?
We're going to watch Made in Abyss.
Okay.
It is 13 episodes long. You can for sure find it on Amazon Prime Video. I'm sure there are other ways to go out there and find it, though. I will not advocate any certain ways, but for the next episode,
do we know that there's less decapitations and fucking in it?
Yes, there certainly is.
Now, I told you I need something wholesome. Relatively.
I'll read off.
Evangelion is wholesome compared to this. Yeah, give me a little blurb, bro.
Yeah, here's the plot. I'm gonna make sure this doesn't give anything away. Okay, the story is centered around an orphan girl named Riko who lives in the town of Orth. I think that's Orth. Yeah, Orth on an island in the Sea of Beloska. The city surrounds a strange giant hole deep in the earth, which is commonly called the Abyss. The Abyss harbors artifacts and remnants of a civilization long gone, and is therefore the popular hunting spot for so-called cave raiders who undertake arduous and dangerous descents into the mist-filled pit to recover whatever relics they can find.
Arduous and dangerous?
Yeah, arduous.
That's not what you said, but okay.
Did I say G?
You said arduous.
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 See, you should be the reader, okay? Because I am admittedly not great at reading.
All right. Well,
As I've
spin
got
your
older,
laptop around.
Okay, here you go,
Give
buddy.
it to me, babe. Give it to me.
There you go, buddy. Brandon's taking over the reading now because there's hard words in there.
How much of this am I reading? This is a whole...
I was just going to go through the first paragraph.
This
is straight off of Wikipedia, the little plot section on there.
The story is centered around an orphan girl named Riku who lives in... You already read this part.
Yep.
Abyss harbors artifacts and remnants of a civilization long gone, and is therefore the popular hunting spot for so-called cave raiders who undertake arduous and dangerous descents into the mist.
Arduous.
I said arduous. To recover whatever relics they can find. Returning from the abyss, however, can be dangerous, as the curse of the abyss, the curse of the abyss, a mysterious, potentially fatal malady, manifests upon ascension. The deeper one goes, the more acute the effects of the curse. Few who have descended into the lower regions have returned to tell of their experiences. Some legendary cave raiders earn the title of White Whistle, one of them being Rico's mother, Liza. And there's some stuff about Rico's goal to follow her mother's footsteps, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to go too far.
Yeah, don't go too far, but
yeah,
it does look very good.
Stuff.
The animation is very nice for it. I did watch the first episode.
I think you sent me you told me, hey, what do you think about this one? And I looked up some images. And
yeah.
They were pretty good.
Yeah, it was between this one or Inuyashiki.
Sounds an awful lot like Inuyasha.
Yeah, but I know how people get, it has a whole, I watched the first episode of that and I liked it a lot, but it does have a lot of that 3D CG,
I'm
the
not
new
super
stuff.
into the 3D CG.
And a lot of people are not into it, so I don't want to discourage viewers or people who potentially listen to us go through something they don't.
I'm definitely part of that camp.
So this one definitely is, actually I do think you would like that anime though. Inuyashiki. It's the one that...
I mean, I got Amazon. I'll give it a shot. Yeah. I'll watch a couple episodes.
I actually really liked the first episode. Right. And I'm picky about the 3D CG.
You showed me a thing that was like... You had it playing at the shop one day. It was one of those 3D things. It was like the robots and the guy ended up lost in space for a little bit.
Knights of Sidonia.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. It looked weird.
Yeah, it looked weird. It does look wrong. But this anime, the animation is incredible. I don't want to say too much.
Is this like an Amazon original, or is this like something they have?
It's not original. They just own it right now.
Okay. That sounds cool, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. So we're gonna break it down like this. We're gonna go. It's 13 episodes. We got 4 episodes for the first one, 4 episodes second, 5 episodes final.
Now you want to check your math on that? You sure you got it right? Because you're really holding them fingers
9,
up.
10, 11, 12, 13.
Okay,
I got it
sounds right.
I'm pretty excited about it, though. It looks good. So.
Yeah, man. I'm down for it. All right, so...
Made in Abyss.
This week's homework, Made in Abyss, episodes 1 through 4.
Yep. Watch them all. Study them up. I will give you this, that it is not as cutesy as it appears.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not...
Okay, well, I'm terrified now.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, it is not Devilman Crybaby. Thank God we got that one out of the way.
Like
no regrets.
I said, wow.
No regrets.
I needed something wholesome. Freaking almost anything's wholesome compared to Devilman Crybaby.
Sometime soon we will do Recovery of an MMO Junkie.
That shit was super cute.
I loved it.
If y'all want the extra credit, I guess, go check it out.
Yeah, I think we will do it soon, but... right now we're going to do Made in Abyss. I want to get through a couple of them that I'm less familiar with.
Yeah.
Kind of put us out there.
There's a few... Netflix is apparently pumping them out, because there was another one I saw as I was flipping through there the other night that came out just this month that looked pretty rad. But it also looked a pretty bummer. Or pretty bummery. Mm-hmm. Pretty bumming. You're going to
have to let me know which one you're talking about, and then
we don't want to say it on here in case we end up doing it. I don't know.
So
y'all can figure it out. It launched this month on Netflix.
I think this episode ended up being about as long as the other one.
You know what? We tried
might
our
have shaved
damnedest.
off a few minutes.
We tried our damnedest. Well, we definitely, we're making it work.
And to be fair, this anime did have way more going for it than most animes I have seen in the past few years.
Yeah, and we had a lot of comments about the overall structure of it at the end. So
yeah, Demon Ejaculate.
You gotta... We've broken 2 promises today.
Yeah. I didn't promise a damn thing.
Well, I did. You made me look like an asshole.
Alrighty, good buddy universe. I'm your good buddy Roger.
I'm your good buddy Brandon.
Husbando.
I'm not saying any of that. I'm your good buddy Brandon. I love you all.
Husbando.
No.
Yeah.
Disagree.
Yeah.
All right.
See you, good buddies, later.
We love you, good buddies. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You fucker.